Anyway, that's how I discovered just how powerful my thighs were, Benzie. Oh, welcome to day 2 of the 4E Jet Fest. El Toro Darkness here with my buddy Benzie. Say hello to the people.
Ahoy, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with the second... And those are wonderful thighs.
Thank you so much. Guys, it is such an exciting day. Today we get to see who's going to get to take home the wonderful, fantastic, very large cash prize. Benzie, can you fill them in briefly on what the prize is at stake today?
Oh, absolutely, El Toro. So we know the prize of this is a very exciting third place. We'll be taking home 1,000 Paragon. Second place will be walking away with 2,000 Paragon. And the lucky team to take in first place is going to be walking out with $250 cash, the largest prize pool in Armajet history.
Absolutely, guys. Again, if you missed yesterday's stream, just to fill you in a little bit about 4 Elements, this is their inaugural, this is our launch for 4 Elements, the esports organization. It's a very exciting moment. This weekend is a very, it means a lot to the 4 Elements team that you guys are here. Thank you guys for joining in on the tournament happenings for today. Also, once again, in case you missed yesterday's stream, Benzie, can you fill them in to keep throwing things your way? Fill them in on exactly what the game of Armajet is if they have not seen or played it.
Of course. So for those of you who don't know, Armajet is a 2.5 arena shooter, Steam and Android, made by Superbit Machine. This game is ultimately, if you imagine that Unreal Tournament and Contra had a baby, gave it a jetpack and a missile launcher, and then strapped it in on a mobile device, that's Armajet for you.
I love it. I love your description. It really is truly a very fun and very addicting game. Having been on a competitive team before, I mean, it is worth it to download this game and give it a try. I promise you will be hooked. All right, let's take a look for today's lineup for the matches that are coming ahead. I'm putting the bracket in the stream right now. Benzie, can you give a little bit of a breakdown on the upcoming matches?
So I believe our first match, I don't access to the full stream graphics, I'm afraid. Back system here. It's a fault of my own due to internet. We should be starting off with, I believe... I'm actually trying to find it myself.
You are fine. I can fill you in on that. The first team is 4 Elements and Skyrose.
There we are, 4 Elements and Skyrose. Sorry, it's just loaded in now.
You are fine. You are totally fine.
Skyrose in on that first game. Now, we can see the 4 Elements themselves. Obviously, they are the team that have come from the hosting organization for this tournament. They played off against Fiery Tail in their opening match, which they won. Then went up against the absolutely dominating Danish Royalty. Sadly, their 4 Elements struggled a little bit and came down into the lower brackets. Skyrose then moved up again, so Skyrose started off by playing against Bwed, which was another one of those little upset teams. Kind of came out of nowhere, punched Skyrose in the face in round 1, but Skyrose came back in their second round, beat off Les Cancereux, and move up now to take on 4 Elements. Both of these teams, therefore, as it's the lower bracket, have had a bit of a rough time at least once earlier, but are still in the running, can still take that first place. That is an exciting situation, I feel.
That is very exciting. I mean, I think, again, it's really anybody's game. There's no team, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2 that we can talk about once those teams really come up. 1 or 2 that have made quite a statement so far in the series. But really, at this point, I still feel like it's anybody's game. I think we're going to see a lot of exciting gameplay here coming up. I do apologize. I'm going to have to mute myself for just 1 second. And I'm going to try to get something else going here for just a moment. If you can fill them in on maybe what the schedule is going to look like, definitely hype up the chat. Guys, the chat, I want to address you real quick. I can't see you because I have so many windows going right now, but I know that Benzie is going to take very good care of you. So if you want to hype the chat up, I will be right back.
I will certainly do my best, Toro. I'm having slight connectivity issues myself, but I seem to be getting them under control. God bless, coming at you guys from Africa. So, looking into things, we've tournament. Now, if we move down beyond that after the Four Elements and Skyro's game, we will be going on to Tribe Gaming versus Fiery Tail. Now, Fiery Tail yesterday had a bit of an upset. Again, they lost their first match in the tournament against Four Elements. But in their second match against Space Soldiers in the lower brackets, the absolute surprise clutch finish to that second round. Fiery Tail just took the lead in game 1, and in game 2 stole the lead in literally the last second of the match. Tribe, on the other hand, again, they won their first game, which then put them up against Bwed. Bwed, again, with their hyper-aggression, just Tribe straight out of that. There was a very dominating game there, very painful to watch in certain places. Tribe is flying fantastically, but just could not hold up against that aggression. Down they went, and they are now taking on Fiery Tail. So we'll have those two matches first of all, Four Elements versus Skyros, Tribe Gaming versus Fiery Tail, and then we will come back to the top bracket. Things are just going to get more and more fiery from there. Then literally, it's I am so excited. Guys, I have spent all day looking at these brackets, just going, this is going to be so amazing. So amazing. And welcome back, Toro. How are things working your end?
Thank you so much. Things are looking a lot more steady. I do apologize again for that delay. I even had to mute you for just a moment there, so hopefully the chat didn't miss out on too much of the juiciness that you have been sharing with them. Also, if you want to take a look at our spreadsheet, it looks like we have the bands getting loaded up. We have the maps getting loaded up. I'm going to set those up for the gameplay if you want to share with the chat what those are.
Let's have a look. So, again, with this, with the way this, each team after a coin toss takes it in turns to, first of all, to pick which server they're going to be playing on, whether that's European or North America. They then do which weapons they're going to be banning, and then finally which maps they will be playing on. Now, in this case around, the server's going to be EU, NA, then EU, and the maps will be Canyon, followed by Magma. Then if we go into a third round, Snowbase will be our arena for that. Now, for the weapon bans, this time around, Four Elements have come out with a Typhoon ban. Clearly, they've been watching Skyros. They've seen Archer running that Typhoon earlier on in the tournament. They don't want to have to deal with that. Widowblade was their secondary ban, and if anyone in chat, come on chat, guess what the second primary and secondary weapon ban was.
They're never gonna guess.
Do it. I don't think anyone can. Not a single person. Anyone in chat? It is, of course, the Havoc and the Marauder have been banned because I think we've seen Havoc in one match only, Toro.
I believe you are correct.
Just yikes, that's we don't like the Havoc around these parts. But what do you think that means going forward for us then, Toro? So like Typhoon and Havoc bans.
So, I mean, I think Skyros definitely played a very safe card there, banning the Havoc and the Marauder. Four Elements, still very solid picks. Typhoon, maybe they just had a feeling that Skyros might come in with a little bit of a wild card. We did see more Typhoon play than I was expecting yesterday from some players, and particularly when they got that double damage like you talked about, they were able to really capitalize on its fire rate and do some incredible work for their team. Four Elements versus Skyros. You may have already mentioned this, I do apologize, but in case you hadn't, I'm looking at the team's total kills from yesterday. Skyros is currently almost doubling the total kills for the team of Four Elements. I mean, that might scare them. It might be a little bit intimidating to hear that fact, but what do you think as far as these teams going head to head, their kills to deaths, how they performed yesterday? Do you have any initial thoughts, any predictions of how this first match is going to go?
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's definitely a bit of a skew in that stat. I mean, they had some very rough matches. I believe Doomslayer himself glitched out during one of those matches. That is going to have seriously upset that straight away there, just because that game, I think it was zero kills to 7 deaths, which was a harsh stat. But going into this, I think there's a certain amount you can look onto those stats. You can say that Skyros, yep, they certainly seem to be more. They've certainly got more kills than Four Elements have up until this point. but it's what that means with them going forward. I think we've got a fairly even matchup. I know Archer as a frontliner, Seeker if he pulls out his Badger, Drakasant, those guys are going to be putting the pain down on 4 Elements. So here's hoping that they can hold up. I mean, we've got, I think it's going to be Doomslayer, Inspiral, and Average Guy 777, and Average without his Havoc, he'll make it work. Just a quick shout out to the chat there as well. I did see that, yes, I do agree. I do agree with Kima. No Nightfall bans. That is surprising. Genuinely, that surprises me.
Yeah, especially with this first map being Canyon, it's a great map to have those arch Nightfall shots lobbed across the map to the other team's spawn. Yeah, again, an interesting choice, but we do also have Magma and Snowbase coming up. Snowbase, knowing, is one of your favorite maps, if I do remember correctly, as well as Archers. Interesting to see no Moon in here, but with the supplement of Magma, I think that's going to have that close, really intense gameplay that we're looking forward to seeing today.
Absolutely, and yes, Snowbase is my second. Canyon very close third, and then down to Temple. Temple's a long way down that list.
As you made very clear yesterday.
What can I say? What can I say?
My goodness. All right, so it looks like
these guys do better.
We are just waiting a few more minutes to start our first match. I'm gonna start looking ahead. I'm gonna put the bracket up one more time to give the people a change of scenery from just seeing the both of our faces, even though hopefully nobody's complaining about seeing either of our faces. I haven't heard a single complaint yet.
Time.
Oh goodness. All right, so I mean, looking ahead, we also have Tribe versus Fiery Tail. We're gonna have Bwed versus the Danish Royalty. Man, there's gonna be some exciting gameplay coming up. I love, again, the fact that this tournament has a lower bracket, which at least in the past 2 tournaments that I've seen, that is not a feature that we are seeing very prominently, but I think that's a very exciting way to give those teams that maybe lost their first series a second chance to still come back and take the final series with them. What are your thoughts? I mean, have you actually played in any competitive games, or have you been just an enjoyer of the game playing casually?
So for me in Armajet, certainly I'm very much an observer. I've played a few matches with the Fiery Tail team, just to sort of get a bit of an understanding, get alongside them and see what they're doing and how they're working. Yeah, I think you guys don't really want to see me attempt to play competitively. It doesn't work too well. That said, sorry, one thing that actually has just jumped out to me that I hadn't even thought of, the way that we're doing these games today. So we've got this first one, 4 Elements versus Skyrose by Tribe and Fiery Tail. Now, the winners of 4 Elements, Skyrose, Tribe Gaming, Fiery Tail, will then go on to play each other. That means whoever wins the Tribe versus Fiery Tail will be going straight from a set of games into another one.
That is correct.
That's going to be an interesting situation there for them.
Yeah, no cooldown and no warming right back up. You got to just stay hot. You got to stay hot coming out of that round. Agreed. That is going to be a little bit of a jarring experience. Hopefully that doesn't get to their heads. Hopefully it doesn't. We don't see a very tired team coming off of a very intense 3-minute match.
In fairness, I think that could even be a benefit because, you are still in that zone. You don't have a chance to cool off and let things come back down on you. Again, further on into the tournament, I'm super excited for every single match we're going to see tonight. I'm not even kidding. I promise you, I've sat there on my phone looking at these brackets, just trying to think in myself what is going to happen and getting myself more and more hyped.
Yes.
But that Bwed and Danish Royalty one, oh yeah.
And I have been practicing saying Bwed. It's very hard for my mind to think like, oh, you're saying it wrong. You're not saying it wrong. It is Bwed. Which makes it very fun for us casters, trying to always enunciate and say words correctly, and then to have a word like Bwed, which is just slightly different than the actual word bread.
But at least it lends nicely to the jokes.
Yes.
Bwed sandwich yesterday.
The Bwed sandwich, getting toasted.
Bread and butter combos. I'm sure we can find a few more to pull out. Here.
Absolutely.
But chat, what do you guys think? So we're looking at the next game being 4 Elements versus Skyrose. What are your opinions? Who do you reckon's got this one and why? I'd love to know your thoughts.
Yep, and then just an update on the teams playing. It looks like Average might be getting subbed out for Thomas. We're going to give him a couple more minutes. You know, that is the name of the game, as I believe, Benzi, you expounded on quite well yesterday, that it is still in beta. We're dealing with people from all over the world connecting to this game, probably just running the servers wild, and those things are going to like spontaneously combust one of these days. But with it being still in beta, with us being all over the world, we're having connection issues. That kind of comes with the territory right now. But it is still going to be an amazing day. We're going to have hype. We're going to have incredible gameplay. I'm still, fingers crossed, hoping for the infamous jetpack kill. I am waiting for one of those to happen today. I want to see lots of overtime games. What are you most looking forward to seeing today?
I think, in fairness, you've just summed it up for me. I really want to see that. I promise you I will throw my headset off. Whether or not there are lions on the property here, I will do a victory lap in the freezing cold.
Yes.
If we see a jetpack kill that equalizes the score and puts us into overtime, or a jetpack kill that takes the victory. Either way, that important jetpack kill, I promise you I will do that. I will even grab my phone and record it for all of you guys.
Oh, that would be amazing. I mean, not even joking, what you just said gave me chills. I'm very excited for today's gameplay. I have to say, even though we're waiting on this first match to happen, it is giving my nerves a chance to settle down, because I did already have a coffee today, which I had the mistake of not having yesterday. So you're going to have a little bit more energy coming from Toro. Benzi is always hyped, so you know that he's going to be ready to go. Looks like we're going to be hopping into this round. It is game time, people.
3,
very excited.
2, 1.
Going into this round. Sorry, I just want to make sure my gameplay was for sure showing. Already taking a lead is Skyrose 2-0. Two of the players weak on health, but they recovered quickly. Looks like 4 elements spawning top left, trying to hold that middle area. Skyrose doing some work, but 4 elements combating that, coming back to a 2-3 game. The spawns seem to be split up right now for Skyrose, but Skyrose taking a 3-6 lead.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of aggression coming out of both of these teams. I mean, looking at those loadouts, we do have a Nightfall in there from Seeker, with beautiful shot there onto in Spiral. We've got the Thunderstorms, plenty of Thunderstorms. It looks like an actual thunderstorm in this arena at the moment. Like lightning strikes, and that drone just does not survive. It's... we're getting a lot of just aggression from both teams. They're trying to fly together, trying to pick off one person. Like, they're straight in, out they go.
Doom 1v3 there, loses DD. Probably just a few more seconds left on DD, but Arch is going to try to capitalize on that. Loses it, and there goes the DD. Teams are still pretty equal right now, 11-12. Skyrose team completely taken out there. Again, their spawns were split up. That's no fun for Seeker. Seeker taken out by Average Guy. Wow, 12-15, very close game halfway through. Any thoughts on who's going to be able to take the lead and what it's going to take to get them there?
I think this really is genuinely anyone's game. I mean, there's a lot of Thunderstorm, a lot of Black Tusk in there. We've got the drones are beginning to come out now as people are getting their ultimates charged up and ready to go. There, that flame drone, Average Guy's renowned flame drone taking out Seeker. I think this really could go any way. It all just depends on if anyone steps out of position. Because as we're watching this, there straight away, perfect example, Dracosan against Inspiral there, and then takes on Average Guy 777. What happened? Inspiral comes out of position, Dracosan just guns him down, melts him away, and because he is now dead, the 2 can move forward and take out the others as well. It's just thinning the herd, but there we are, they're pulling ahead.
Very intense gameplay, though. I mean, with the Black Tusk and the Thunderstorms, it's going to be all close combat. It's going to be nothing but action here for the next 30 seconds. Skyrose might be able to hold this lead, 17-25, 8-point difference. Seeker picks up double damage, is taken out. Average Guy going to try to capitalize on that with just a few more seconds, most likely on the double damage. Can they come back 7 points? That's quite a difference. Not looking like this is going to be in 4 Elements' favor.
2 kills remaining.
10 seconds left in the round, a 10-point difference. What a game. Skyrose really holding that lead for the duration of the match.
3, 2, 1.
No, I think that is
Round
it
over.
there at
That is
29 to
game.
19.
That is game. I'm going to leave those stats up as long as possible before that transitions out so you guys can see. Give me your initial thoughts on how you feel like that match went.
I think, in fairness, that was a brilliant opening match for this second. Together in their abilities, very close together in skill. Both of them refused to give any form of distance in that at all during that match. They see your opponent trying to, see the opposing team trying to take that lead and pull that score away. No, we're going to bring it right back. Both teams keeping that gap as tight as possible. Unfortunately, as I said yesterday, we do often reach that position in Armajet matches where the ultimate start to snowball outwards. In this case, it was those flame drones from Average Guy and the machine gun drones. You're adding an extra player to your team, and if both of your teams are equally matched, that additional player with the drone can suddenly cause everything to snowball out of control if you're not very careful. And I think 4 Elements playing incredibly well there.
Yeah.
But just that snowball cost both teams dearly, and that just leaves us where we got to. It's a difficult thing to come back from when that starts to pull away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was one moment where, I don't know if you guys noticed in the chat, there was the drones fighting each other in the top right of the map. I think Skyros had 2 going at one time against the 4 Elements 1. As you say, those ultimates really make a difference. Obviously, getting the power-ups makes a difference. Power-ups kind of went both ways, if I remember correctly. Pretty even as far as the pickups go for the DD. But having those ultimates might have been the difference maker there for Skyros because they consistently had their drones going. Oh,
absolutely. Consistency with those ultimates. Always 4th player in your team, and if it's 4v3, yeah, well, that kind of says itself. The numbers just talk. But yeah, we definitely saw the double damage. That passed hands an awful lot. Some beautiful catches from the team. I think there was a fantastic one where I can't remember who it was, if it was Archer or Seeker who dropped it. But I remember Drakusan being the one who there was a beautiful little jetpack boost just for him to swoop in, pick up that double damage, if only to deny the enemy team those few seconds of the double damage. But there was a lot of back and forth with that.
absolutely there was. I'm connecting currently. We do have a code in case you missed it here. We have our code. We're getting in. Let's see. KFV.
Yeah, this is going to be our second match now on Magma.
We're still best of 3.
The 2 teams sort of correct. It's all best of 3 for today until we reach our last 2 games in the brackets. So that'll be whoever wins in. Go away. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting notifications left, right, and center. That'll be whoever wins in the Wedge, Danish royalty,
Yes,
and then
match.
whoever wins in this lower bracket. Those 2 games of the night will both be best of 5.
Oh yes. All right, teams are getting warmed up right now for the second round in this series.
Prepare
Again,
to
we are on
fight.
Magma. We are in the NA server. Hang on just a second here. We're getting it loaded
3,
up.
2, 1.
Round 2 of the series. 4 Elements Skyros. Magma, one of my favorite matches. You expect a lot of intense gameplay. Most likely still running the Black Tusk and the Thunderstorm, but again, we're going to see that variation coming from Average Guy running the Venom right now. He's going to try to zone control the other team into bending into 4 Elements will, and he's doing a great job so far. 4-0 for 4 Elements, getting this round started. 5-0. We're just going to be waiting to see when Skyros gets their first kill, but 4 Elements not letting them get a word in edgewise. 6-0 lead. 30 seconds into the first round. This is actually amazing to watch. What a play from 4 Elements. Way to go to start that round off. That can be hard and very demoralizing for Skyros to come back. I know they're a very poised, seasoned professional team. But, Benzi, what are your thoughts thus far, a minute into the match?
I think so far we've seen a lot of aggression again, straight out there from the 4 Elements team. They've come straight out of the gate. They've just really dominated the top area of the map. And the top area of Magma, if you can control that, that's kind of how you win games here. I do have to say, as a quick aside, I am absolutely adoring seeing the guys running a Ripper in this match. The Ripper is one of my favorite weapons, and it doesn't get nearly enough love. Just watching those blades bounce, you can get some beautiful like kills on people you can't even see. But here we go. We actually have now 4 Elements have lost that lead.
Skyrose moving like a beehive, which is, like I've said before, one of the ways that I see Skyrose really controlling the pace of a match is when they get together. They're doing all that combined damage, just taking out the other team. As you said very well, I mean, Skyrose is making quite the comeback right now. It is a tie game, less than half the round to go, 1 minute coming up. 14 to 14, Skyrose staying together, 4 Elements staying together. They're taking that middle section like you were just mentioning. And that could be the difference maker for 4 Elements to take this round of the series. We still have yet to see. 1 minute left. 4 Elements does have the 1 point lead, holding that 1 point lead, but they are getting taken out from their spot of hierarchy there in the middle. Wow, Skyrose taking the lead.
That was a difficult position there for Average. He saw that double damage spawn, jumped straight in to try and claim it, but with no one and nothing to back him up. Ultimately, he couldn't hold it. And as you saw, that then handed the double damage straight over to Skyrose. Fortunately, though, for 4 Elements, they very quickly capitalized and managed to bring that back. Control of the double damage, as I said yesterday, is vital in this game. And being able to hold on to it, not just jump in there, grab that double damage, and then die. Because all you do there is give the double damage to the other team and still end up with it now being a 3 versus 2, and the 3 have the double damage.
1.
Wow,
Round
and
over.
4 Elements really control. I feel like they were in a lot of control for that round. Give me your initial thoughts, though, because again, we're seeing these teams being very close to one another as far as the quality of their play goes.
Absolutely. Both of these teams are, well, both the teams are made up of fairly long-standing players. So with 4 Elements, we've got people like Average Guy. We've got hang on.
It's okay.
Sorry,
It does get confusing.
I need to sort this out there. So yeah, with 4 Elements, we've got Average Guy. We've got Inspiral. We've got Doomslayer. For Skyrose, Archer, Seeker, and Dracosan. These are all long-standing players. These guys know almost every single weapon in the game intimately. They know the stats. They know the arcs. Looking at Dracosan using that Ripper, he knows how long that can. He knows the range of that weapon, how far you can shoot it, and how it bounces off different surfaces. Both of these teams intimately know this game, and it just ultimately comes down to how they play. Individual plays within the match make a massive difference in a game like this because the skills are so closely related. All it takes is one minor slip up, and again, we get that snowball. Just things start to escalate in directions you would not believe. I mean, looking at these stats here, at the KDAs in that match were all utterly, brilliant. A lot of great kills, a lot of just decent accuracy. But again, it's those hyper-aggressive weapons sort of doing the damage.
Yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, looking at both these teams, I would be very comfortable saying that they are all 100+ level. They've easily all put in, I mean, just countless hours of time into this game. As you said very well, I mean, they're all going to be knowing every which way of every which weapon. So I think it's going to be a matter of whoever can pull out like a secret trick out of their back pocket that might catch the other team off guard. Maybe pulling out a weapon loadout that the other team isn't going to be expecting. We're going into Snowbase for this last round of the series for the EU server. Man, I'm expecting a lot of chaos happening in the middle of Snowbase. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely my favorite map, Snowbase. I love how cramped, confined, and claustrophobic those corridors get. Now, and here, I think, in fairness, this is ultimately where 4 Elements banning Typhoon suddenly does wonders for them. Because that Typhoon is terrifying in this map.
Absolutely,
2,
absolutely.
1.
Here comes the final round of this series, 4 Elements versus Skyrose. Wow, Skyrose getting a disadvantage at the beginning of splitting up their spawns, but they come right together. Every team looking to be aggressive to take this win. Everybody's trying to hold that center because that's where that double damage is going to get spawned. 4 Elements taking a 1-point lead, and Skyros has an answer, and quite the answer. They take out the other team. Draco-san takes them all out solo there. Wow.
And it's fantastic here. Seeker using a Velocitus. This is my favorite of the sniping weapons. So my favorite sniping weapon on one of my favorite maps. The sound it makes alone is worth running it. But ultimately on a map like this, where those corridors are so tight, you know, the space is at such a premium. It's so easy for the Velocitus to get those multiple kills, where you can just fire it straight through an entire team and deal some hefty damage.
Absolutely.
I'm just hoping we get some really good ones. But again, here with Archer and Draco-san just going absolutely insane with those thunderstorms. That double damage has spawned. We have Skyros holding the central ground and holding the thunderstorm, although they've actually left the center ground to go hunting. I think with a 10-4 lead, they can kind of get away with it. This game is, they're feeling confident here.
Wow.
Clearly.
Quite the play here by Draco-san, holding the double damage and making plays happen. Archer finishing the other team off. You know what's beautiful to watch is both of these teams, like we talked about, are very experienced players, and these aren't the easiest corridors to have your movement and mobility, but these teams are making it look easy, getting around these tight corners, moving through those corridors, getting to good placements, getting their spots of advantage. And Skyros really holding this lead, not even letting 4 Elements get into the double-digit points. 5-16, tripling the score of 4 Elements. Do you have any hope for 4 Elements to be able to come back from this? Skyros is taking quite the dominating position here.
I don't know. I think Snowbase is just, it's one of those maps that I love it and I hate it for that exact reason. Once you take a lead, it can be really hard for your opponent. Once you start falling behind, it can be difficult to make it up, because again, you just want the people who are taking that lead, they're controlling the map. You've got that central hub that is just difficult to deal with once you can bunker down inside it. You take a player out of that, suddenly they've got to respawn outside, and getting from the outside to the inside is much harder than going the other way. Though we have seen here, Skyros now have gone into their double digits, but I don't know. I can't see them getting another 12 points in the next 15 seconds.
Agreed, and you can kind of see it in the pace of the game. I feel like it has changed over the past 30 to 40 seconds, where 4 Elements seems to just be kind of taking their time, knowing and accepting maybe their defeat. I'd be interested to know what was going on in their head halfway through that round, knowing that it was not looking good for them. Wow, quite the game. Man, 4 Elements kind of taking quite the beating there. Draco-san with 13-5. Go ahead and give us your initial thoughts here.
Well, sadly, that does now mean that 4 Elements are out of this tournament. They've fallen into the lower bracket by losing this matchup. We do end up saying farewell to 4 Elements for this.
Valiant effort, though.
Indeed, definitely valiant effort, and we see that Skyros will be moving forward to play the winner of Tribe versus Fairy Tail. As for my thoughts directly in the match, again, I think it is Snowbase. It is the name of the game. It's getting that central ground, holding it until you have that lead. Yeah. And by the time we saw Skyros stepping out of the center, purposely actually giving up that central ground, you can see they had the confidence. They knew they had that lead. Their weaponry was in their favor, and they've clearly been practicing on a map like Snowbase. As you quite rightly mentioned, it is very tricky to navigate those corridors. If you want to be keeping at like maximum speed, you need to be bouncing, you need to be keeping your jetpack moving at all times. And with low ceilings, it can be hard to be flying without smacking your head into things, simply put. So it requires a certain mastery to keep your speed up.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that was one of the most valuable tricks that I learned from the first tournament that I competed in, where I was paired up with Nox's for the Mentor Apprenticeship series. That was actually a lot of fun. I did learn a lot from Nox, and one of the biggest things I took away was the ability to B-hop or bunny hop and keep that momentum going, not letting yourself drop to the ground for too long, and definitely not letting yourself hit any obstacles. It is definitely an art, and some of the top players really have perfected this so that you have fluidity of movement.
Absolutely. It is the armor jet equivalent of strafe jumping in Quake. It's one of those beautiful things that if you can do it, It looks amazing. It's one of those skills you really need to learn in order to be top tier competitive. You can get by without it, especially if you're going with things like the long range sniping weaponry. But for a frontliner, that is an absolute must-have skill. And Archer, we know, it is one of his main skills. I mean, Archer is like one of the top frontliners in Armajet at the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
He has that bunny hopping and keeping VMAX down to an art form.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I think of movement, we don't see this player in this tournament today, but I'm sure you've heard of him. Lucas himself from Hammers is quite the gem to be able to watch the way he moves. But again, you see that type of movement from any of the top players like Archer, like Average Guy, that have been, again, putting hours, Draco-san, into this game. And their movement is so fluid. It's just like butter watching them move around the map. Whereas you got somebody like me who I've been putting quite a few hours, but I still have some stuttering movement. I still hit obstacles, and it seems like they don't even notice the obstacles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And funny that you should mention Lucas. When I was doing my Longclaw video, Lucas sent me up a load of footage. It's amazing to watch a guy who is using a sniper rifle refuse to keep his distance. Like, you think most people pull out a Longclaw and they go, it's a sniper rifle, I'm going to keep my distance, aim, and get those shots in. No, not with him. That guy just dances around that map.
Yep.
He will take you out if you're at the maximum range. He will take you out. He'll just pop up out of, but right in front of you, pop out from below the platform, and just shoot you in the face at point blank range. Laugh, pull back, watch you respawn, and then shoot you from halfway across the map. What?
I have definitely.
There we go.
I've seen some evidence of some very nasty 1v1s. Lucas will call anybody out, go toe-to-toe with anybody, and you better think twice before accepting that invitation from Lucas.
Oh, there are a series of players that are very good like that, and it's great to see that most of those guys are still in the tournament. Like seeing Bron yesterday. Oh, beautiful moments in there. Archer again today. It's you can tell the people who have put in the hours, but as we said with Le Cancero yesterday, just because you haven't put in those hours doesn't mean you can't come out of here, have a great time, and just shoot some people in the face. The frag floor needs blood to be covered on it, simple as, and whether you win or lose, as long as you're having fun. And I know that sounds like such a dweebish thing to say, but really it is all about having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about this next series coming up. We got Tribe Gaming versus Fiery Tail. Looks like we are already going to be getting into the game here. I do apologize, I didn't put the weapon bans in there. I will have that updated for the next round of the series. Looks like we are going to have Wildfire, Venom, Sticky, and Marauder are all going to be the bans. We'll talk a little bit more about those choices after this match. Tribe Gaming, Fiery Tail. Looks like they're going to be pretty evenly matched here as far as what their stats going into this round are. Do you have any pre-notions about how this round is going to go?
I really, really don't. As you said, those stats are equal. Everything I would normally look at to try and work out and get an idea on who I'd put my money on, the paperwork just doesn't help me out here. It's purely on performance that we've seen them going into this otherwise, and how they've been doing otherwise in the matches. And I think, honestly, Tribe are going to put up a damn hard fight. I think Fiery are going to struggle, but I do believe they could do this one.
Absolutely. So it looks like, pretty evenly matched. A minute into the game, we're only looking at a 2-3 score. No dominating lead. Nobody really showing that they're going to be the ones controlling this game quite yet. Delike is holding on to that double damage with the Nightfall. What are your thoughts about having Delike be the one that took the double damage and maybe not letting one of his other teammates take that?
I'll be honest, I'm in two minds about that. On one hand, the Nightfall does 100 damage anyway. If you hit with it, you kill an unshielded opponent, simple as. So it's kind of unnecessary to have double damage on it unless you're going up against shielded opponents, at which point, yes, of course, it's going to kill them. But looking at what else is in his team, you've got, from what I see here, you've got a Longclaw, and we've got a Typhoon. Both of those benefit from that double damage a lot more. The Typhoon, just because it can hose people down even faster and thus not have to worry about return fire. And the Longclaw suddenly goes from not killing someone in one shot to killing them shielded in one shot. So to me, I would have passed that to one of my teammates.
If you guys notice, we have 3 drones moving around, actually just moved down to 2 I may have the colors of the teams mixed up here, and I might be talking about Fiery Tail's score instead of Tribes. I do apologize for the mix-up here, but we are seeing some excellent gameplay from both sides. It looks like we're having Tribe coming away with the lead here, quite a dominating lead, 14-4. Correct me if I'm wrong, Benzie. Do I have the teams mixed up here with the blue and the red, or do you see the same that I do?
That is correct.
Okay.
We have Fiery Tail in the blue, Tribe in the red.
Thank you so much. I was thrown off there for a moment. It's just hard for my eyes to adjust. I wear glasses. Please be gracious on me. Tribe dominating this game right now, 19-5, where they started a little bit slow, possibly just kind of feeling out what Fiery was going to do. They definitely seem to read them quite well and have controlled this match, taking the win right now. Ending score 20-5.
Round over.
Wow. Wow,
yeah,
wow,
that
wow.
was a rough game for Fiery Tail. I'm surprised we didn't see Yobot quite as aggressive with his Badger as we did yesterday with him on Moon. He had some really, really impressive kills with that yesterday. We just didn't see that come out today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to get those weapon bans updated in the game for you guys. I do apologize. Let's see here. Make sure to have the game. All right. So you want to go over the bans while I fill them in?
Absolutely, yes. So for the weapon bans, we see that this time around, Tribe banned both the Wildfire and the Sticky Grenade, and Fiery Tail went for banning the Venom and the Marauder. Now, the Venom, I know it's one that Fiery Tail struggled with back in, which tournament was that they struggled in with Toro with the Venom? They got literally shut down by 4 Venom users on Snowbase.
Oh gosh, I can't remember specifically. I know the instance you were talking about, but I can't remember which tournament specifically that was. I mean, the Venom is that kind of weapon though. It'll completely zone control you to where you feel like you can't move, you can't get around, you can't get off your shots because you are getting tripped up by these Venom pellets that are just covering the map.
And I think Fiery Tail are just a little bit cautious of that now. It's a weapon that I think they've come to hate in and of themselves. And perhaps it also speaks maybe them not being 100% comfortable with their movement just yet. So banning the Venom makes sense under those situations. Banning the Marauder means Marauder is a very common pick for most teams, especially if you're running something like or a Leviathan. You can hit with the with your sniper and with the Marauder at the same time, and that's bye-bye shield an opponent. For Tribe to ban the Wildfire and the Sticky, I know that a couple of guys in Fiery Tail have had a real sort of play around recently with the Wildfire. Oddsfish is known for using it. Vipensity had a spat where she started running that very aggressively, so I think possibly Tribe have seen that, have watched that and gone, yeah, we're not really willing for that. I mean, certainly we've got Moon and Magma as our first maps, 2 weapons that the Wildfire can really dominate on. So to me, that makes sense. The Sticky, I think that's more, we've seen Yobot using the Sticky, we don't want to go up against that. I've seen him using the Sticky, I wouldn't want to go up against it. If I knew Yobot was on a team, I'd be banning the Badger, Frag Grenade, and Sticky. Anything with a curved trajectory and high damage, go away.
Yobot they seem to have mastered getting that arc right into the places that they need to go. It is a little bit of an art to get the arch mastered. Most people do prefer to have straight shot weapons when it comes to competitive play, but people like Yobot are dangerous with the arched weapons.
I think that's actually a counterpoint in that what we see a lot of people playing competitively on PC. This misconception that if you're going to play competitively, PC is the way to go because you've got the mouse aim, and certainly the mouse aim and PC works fantastically for straight fire weapons like your snipers, like your Black Tusks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for curved weaponry like the Tremor, the Badger, the Venom, those I personally find, from my own experience, definitely, I find those much easier to use on mobile. Curved trajectory just works so much easier. You can really place the shots much higher degree of accuracy.
Yeah.
Speaking with Yobot and a couple of others as well, that seems to be a fairly commonplace thing. So hopefully we're going to see the end of this whole PC has an advantage debate. I can categorically tell you it does not. It has advantages in some ways, mobile then has advantages in other ways. It's entirely up to your playstyle and which one you practice with.
Absolutely. Looks like we're going to be getting ready to go into this next round here in just a moment. on Magma. Tribe and Fiery. Just a correction
3,
here. Tribe is
2,
now on blue. Fiery
1.
is now on red. Good thing to be aware of for us casters. Teams getting split
just to confuse us.
evenly. Fiery taking a 1-point lead here early in the game, 3-1. Very good gameplay here to start the round off. If they can control this map, this small, intense map of Magma, they might just be able to take the second round of the series, bring us to a third round. Going back real quick, both teams look to be even in their kills for the whole tournament. So it'll be interesting to see who's able to take the lead. Tribe having a really dominating game this last round. Fiery seeming to take that, not taking that for an answer, and taking a 5-1 lead right off the bat here, almost a minute into the game. Tribe has an answer though. Go ahead and give me some thoughts.
I think it's a beautiful thing to see Propensity just going absolutely insane with that thunderstorm there. The amount of kills she racked up in a very short period of time. But the oof I put in there was a beautiful moment. I couldn't see the names as to who it was, but someone swept one of Tribe's, sorry, I had to check the leaderboard, who's blue, who's red. One of Tribe's players swept through to the left, looked like he was horrifically out of position and about to be gunned down by Fiery, managed to pull out with like a sliver of health left and gun down the 2 Fiery Tail players instead. That's painful. But again, just there is so much back and forth here. Whenever it looks like someone's taking a lead, it's hopscotch. We are seeing a game of hyper-violent hopscotch.
That's quite the way to put it, and you're absolutely right. Halfway through the round here, it's 10-12. Fiery holding a lead, although it has not been a very big lead. We are now tied up. Oh, and of course, right as I say that, Fiery seems to hear me. They're like, we are taking this lead. Tied up again. Tribe having an answer. Nobody quite taking a dominating lead. This is going to be a close match. It's going to be a nail-biting match. I can see it coming down to the last seconds here of the round. Double damage
1
coming
minute
live here in
remaining.
just a moment. Looks like Fiery is positioning themselves in such a way that they're going to get this unless Tribe has a way to answer by Pensity holding that front line down for the double damage. Yobot backing up, Fiery repositioning, and they're going to get this double damage. I can feel it. So there it is. Oh, of course. Again, just like they can hear me.
They just love hating you.
Just like they can hear me. Tribe has that answer, able to take the double damage, and Jenkins, if I'm not mistaken, has double damage as well as Invis. That is a very overpowered character right there going through. He's going to try to get this lead ahead for Tribe. First lead of the round, 20-18. Oh, 4-point lead, 20 seconds left in the game, 5 points. Guys, it's not looking like we're going to have a third round in this series. 6 points, 10 seconds left, 7 points. Tribe making a great comeback from Fiery's first lead. Wow.
3,
What a game.
1.
Tribe
Round
taking
over.
the series. I apologize for not updating that scoreboard there, but that is the second point for Tribe. They take the series, knocking Fiery Tail down. Give me your thoughts.
So sadly, there it is. We do say goodbye to Fiery Tail. That series does cost them, and out they go. Tribe, however, they have earned their place. They are climbing back up. So we are seeing now from here, it is our next game is going to be Tribe versus Skyrose. For that game there, though, crikey, what a sweaty match. Like, seriously, I would have dropped my phone if that was me playing, just for the sheer sweat sliding it out of my hands. As you said, it's so close the entire way. Everything, every single point scored was paid for. Every point scored was paid for in blood. Every point you scored was given away a point. Both teams doing that and just bunny hopping each other right way up. Unfortunately, yes, it was that combination of the double damage and the invis. That is terrifying. Once you have someone who has both of those, you've got someone who can put down an extreme amount of hurt in a very short space of time, and you're not going to be able to see them coming unless you're looking carefully. That, in this case, that was the defining moment where Tribe just stepped up and absolutely took it. And denied Fiery Tail that third game. So respects to Fiery Tail. Tribe Gaming, well done. That double damage and invis won the match. Beautiful play. Beautiful play.
Yes, and I do have the updated bracket here. It looks like this is going to be the would you consider this the semifinal round? I always get confused with tournament brackets. I apologize, chat. Benzie, correct me if I'm wrong. We're looking at the teams that are going to be battling out to see who's basically going to go to the finals and who's going to be having to battle for second and third. What are your thoughts? Correct me if I'm wrong on my understanding there.
No, that's how I understand it as well here, that Skyrose and Tribe both going to be duking this out for the right to take on Bwed or Danish Royalty, whoever it is who wins that particular match. Then shortly after that, we will have Bwed versus Danish Royalty to find out who's going to be taking that. So yes, this is very much a case of, I think this would therefore be quarterfinals, because it's who's going to be taking on
that makes more sense to me. So yeah, my brain comprehends that a lot better.
Or is it semis? This match is who is going to go on to take on. No, this is semifinals. This is wow.
Does chat know?
Wow. I have no idea what I'm saying anymore.
Oh, it's so funny. Tournament brackets can be a little bit confusing. Kind of throwing that monkey wrench a little bit for the lower bracket, but like I said, I appreciate having that lower bracket to give those teams a chance to crawl back from their early losses to maybe make another victory so that they can get to the top. It looks like we are going to be having Skyrose versus Tribe Gaming. This is going to be quite the game. Do you have any initial thoughts?
I feel sorry for Tribe having just done that. Those two matches, suddenly having to go in and up against Skyrose. That's a tough matchup anyway, but no chance to wind down. As I said, perhaps that could be an advantage for them, though. Perhaps because they haven't had chance to step out of the zone, they are still very much fighting for their position.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Fighting spirit. Absolutely, absolutely, and why not?
All right, and we have our weapon bans getting updated. Maps are getting chosen right now. Do you want to talk about the bans?
Yeah, this is an interesting one and a long overdue. So Skyrose, having seen Delike, should come as no surprise at all that the Nightfall has immediately been outlawed. Again, if I was could see Delike on an enemy team, I would be banning that Nightfall straight up. We saw him yesterday, 1 shot, 1 kill, 3 people down every time. Oh, incredible gameplay. Skyrose have also chosen, of course, to ban the Marauder. That hampers a lot of those build-outs. Tribe, on the other hand, have gone for a rather unusual. I mean, the Widowblade is a standard ban. I can understand why they've gone for banning the Widowblade. With the Marauder out and the Widowblade both out, this really pushes onto some more of the unusual and slightly less played secondary weapons. Velocitus. I think this is ultimately because of the 2 maps that have been picked. With Magma and Snowbase being our first 2, the Velocitus, as I said, can be so damaging because Magma, you've got these straight lanes. If you can get a Velocitus with a double damage and fire a shot down a straight lane, every single person you hit through and that shot does pass just dies. Yeah. Whether they've got shields, whether they're at full health, they just die. You could easily take out all 3 in 1 shot. And that is one of the single most beautiful things in Armor Jab.
Yes, the skewer, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah, it's so epic you even get an award for doing it in the game. I mean, come on. Come on. And again, I'm just going to put it out there. That weeping sound from a Velocitus. Just, It
is a wonderful sound to hear. It's so satisfying. And I think you had some great insights there. I mean, going into Magma and Snowbase, you have a lot of great lines of sight going straight across the map from one side to another. So we're going to see, I believe, some long play, or maybe not as much long play because we have the Velocitus taken out, unless somebody starts to run a Long Claw. I don't know, or Leviathan, I guess, for that matter. Any other ranged weapons you think we might see since we have these long lanes?
I really don't think we're going to. I think with the Velocitus out of the question, knowing both of these teams, I think we are going to see a lot of close range. There's going to be Thunderstorms and Black Tusks all over the shop.
2,
Absolutely.
1.
First round of this series, Skyrose and Tribe Gaming. I think these are going to be crazy, scary matches to watch. I imagine we're just going to have some chaos happening. Look at what is happening already. 15 seconds in, nobody's scoring. Everybody's staying back because they know just how dangerous the other players on the other team are. These are two very well seasoned teams that they know what they're doing. They know how to play against each other. They've played against each other more than a handful of times. 30 seconds in, still no score. Skyro's taking the first points of the round. 2-point lead there. Still no points for Tribe Gaming. Looks like they're splitting up just a little bit, hoping to get some kills. 2-1. Low scoring game so far, almost a minute down for the round. Wow, and what a shot there by Delike. Taking the lead here, Tribe Gaming with Jenkins taking an enforcer shot to Archer, getting the double damage as well, dropping it. Oh man, Tribe taking a lead. What do you think?
I think I'm so used to having the Havoc banned that I completely forgot it could even be a possibility in this match. So when you said, are there any weapons I expect to see, this is Magma. The Havoc hasn't been banned, and of course we're going to see Havocs.
Oh yeah.
Simply because, again, you can fire it down that lane, and look at the damage that those shots are doing when they connect. It's brutal. But again, we are seeing a lot of Thunderstorm, we're seeing a lot of Black Tusk fire, but that score is just not moving.
Nope,
even
it's not wanting to budge. It's
shifted between both teams, each team taking their moment to shine, then handing it back to the other team, which in fairness is really sweet of them, you know?
How considerate of both teams. Tribe taking the biggest lead so far we've seen of the game, of a 3-point lead, 9-13 now. Wow. Tribe making a little bit of a statement here. We'll see if Skyros is going to make an answer here for the last minute. 5-point lead for Tribe. Teams are staying back, shooting those long Havoc, God, what are they called? Projectiles. And let's see, we're seeing some Samo long claw action. Tribe holding this lead though, even though it has dropped to a 3-point lead. Dropped to a 1-point lead. Tie game now. Skyros making quite a statement there. Draco-san getting the drone kill as well as a Black Tusk kill, taking the lead. Skyros, 30 seconds left in the game. It's anybody's game. This might come down to the wire. It could as well be overtime. Draco-san holding the double damage, taking out Jenkins there, holding their 2-point lead. 20 seconds left. Draco-san getting a little overconfident in my opinion there on the left. He got to
we have this complete back and forward.
Yes. Draco-san getting a double, but then gets taken out there. Tribe might tie this up in the last 10 seconds. We'll see. Delike is getting weak there in the middle. They're trying to have an answer to bring it to a tie game. It is a tie game right now. We are going into overtime. I love it. Skyro's taking the first point of overtime.
Just got a little bit greedy there, and that cost them the point to equalize.
Wow. Wow. This is exciting, guys.
Really cost Skyros now.
Yep, 10 seconds left. Tribe is going to try to hold their lead. They're only up by 1 point right now. Less than 10 seconds. 5 seconds left in the game. It is a tie game. Tribe takes the lead. Tribe takes a 2-point lead. Skyros has an answer. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Very solid, consistent gameplay from both teams. That is one of the more exciting rounds we've seen of this entire tournament. Do you agree? What are your thoughts? I mean, that was invigorating. That was exciting. That was very energetic. Woo!
Like, how do I even begin to break that down? There was just too much going on. I do not have 12 pairs of eyes. Just, you know, hang on. I need to breathe.
I'm trying to catch my breath as well. Wow. Wow, what a round in the series.
I wasn't even actually shouting it, but at the same time, I'm out of breath. That was incredible. Just every moment that we thought one team was taking a lead, like as soon as Tribe takes a lead, Skyros comes out with Archer just gunning someone down, takes a 2-point lead, then Jenkins just comes along and Havocs someone in the face and equalizes. There was this moment when it did look very much like Tribe were about to win just before we got to the overtime, about 10 seconds to go, and they seemed to just get a little bit kill hungry. That cost them, my apologies if that wasn't Tribe. That overtime has blown my mind to the point I don't exactly remember.
You know what's funny is I had the same experience where it's like, who won? I can't even remember who won because it was so back and forth. I do believe it was Tribe that did take that round. Wow.
But with the overtime, just that little sneak in, that little bit of overconfidence at the end, brought in the overtime. And if it was Tribe that snuck that in, they got away with it. If it was Skyros that unfortunately got a little bit at the end there, then it cost them and Tribe have moved up. You know, what do I say?
Yeah.
My brain has turned to Joyous mush.
Joyous mush. I mean, I'm also looking at the team stats as a total. Skyros has quite a bit of kills as a team. 179 kills so far in the tournament. Tribe not far behind with 123, but I mean, that's still quite a difference. But that just goes to show this series is going to be, I believe, one for the ages. I think this is going to be all the way to the third round when we're going to see both teams duke it out on Moon. But this next round is on Snow Base, one of your favorites. Are you ready for this? This is going to be an epic match on Snow Base.
I am hyped for this. Snow Base, again, you either take the lead and you hold that lead and just dominate, or you get the closest, lowest kill match you can imagine, where just no one quite dies. Everyone holds on with 1 HP. This is going to be hype. Oh, my body is ready.
Woo, here we go. Oh boy. So Skyro's getting a mid spawn there, while Tribe is kind of thrown off to the right there. Tribe coming in from the top, trying to take control of the middle area. That is where we're going to see the double damage. That's where we're going to see most of the action, is most likely down in that middle bottom chamber. Tribe taking a lead right now, 2-0. 30 seconds in, Delight by himself at the bottom against two of the Skyros players. He's able to hold his own though and push them back. He's saying, no, that is my double damage. I am protecting this for my team. Tribe 4-0 right now. Again, we have Draco-san was by himself over there against 3 of the Tribe members. Tribe is losing ground though when it comes to that double damage, but they don't seem to care because it's 6-0. They're controlling this map thus far. That Venom is going to do work when it comes to this Snow Base match, which I'm sure you would agree. What are your thoughts of them running the Venom? We see some Havoc play. Give me some thoughts of yours, Captain Benzi.
Certainly, the Venom is actually by far my most used weapon. It is what I love to pieces, and it is doing some serious damage here. Samo just knows that if you can the top of Snow Base with the Venom, you can just control that entire central area. As you see, he is just rinsing areas and denying poor old Skyros any approach through those areas, because you take one wrong step and that toxic goo just it obliterates you. It's a terrifying weapon to face on this map. And like here, having Draco-san, Delight, sorry, there with the Havoc just trying to deal some damage, it's not a great option on this map. Just simply because, like there in the bottom, he has been rinsed. Long-range weapons are they're a risk on this, and I think ultimately Tribe have come out. They've dominated early on. They didn't care about that double damage. They're still holding that lead simply because they're holding on to the top. They're holding on to the top, and for the most part, they're staying together in order to do it.
Absolutely.
Oh, beautiful drone placement.
Very good drone placement. Controlling that bottom chamber so as to solidify their spot to have that double damage. I noticed a little bit more aggressive gameplay coming from Skyros, trying to push Tribe away so that they can get that double damage, and it has seemed to work. Draco-san with the Black Tusk and the Enforcer running that double damage. He's going to try to play some aggressive play to get his team some kills. He is searching. You can see him on the hunt. Tribe controlling that top area right now, though. Delight has a shield and full health, so Draco-san is going to have some work ahead of him if he's going to capitalize with that double damage. Double damage gets dropped, picked up by Tribe.
I was about to say, having just everything that I've just said has just been proven false. It looks like ultimately Tribe almost got a little bit too cocky. Skyros came back and really punished them for that. Just kind of seemed to adapt to their tactics.
Wow.
But it does look like Tribe have just equalized, taken that lead, and run off with it. Tribe do win that round, and that series, I believe, now is Tribe's.
That would be Tribe's series. It belongs to them. They did quite well that round, taking that 6-0 lead to begin with. How do you think that made Skyros feel? Did they maybe have to make an adjustment? Did you notice them making any change once they had that 0-0 lead? I'm sorry, 6-0 lead.
Absolutely, that 6-0 lead at the start for Tribe, just with that Venom. Venom was dealing damage, but it was the Black Tusk that was getting the kills, so swooping in there and finishing off the wounded opponents. That's a brilliant tactic, and it works so well on Snow Base. You just deal that incidental damage in any way you can, and then mop up with your frontliners. Now, in this case, Tribe, obviously, they took a good heavy lead with that. That was a very straightforward tactic, very commonly used tactic. Skyros clearly saw that, saw what they were doing, and just went, no, we know how to counter this, and they did. There was a big adaptation. For a long time, it looked like Skyrose were ultimately just trying to almost face ram. They were throwing themselves into that top right corner. Then they decided that no, slamming our face against a brick wall is not working here, and they changed. They moved down to the south of the map, they held that bottom, they grabbed the double damage, and with that, they didn't do quite as much damage as I would have hoped they could do, but they did equalize, and they forced Tribe to adapt, and Tribe then had to pick up the game and expand beyond that, which they did. Tribe did really well there, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Very consistent gameplay from both teams. As mentioned before, I mean, they're both very seasoned teams. They have been around for quite some time, and they know the ins and outs. They know how each other play. So we knew it was going to be very exciting gameplay. But again, very good game for that particular round by Tribe. This next round, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be, let's see here, Bwed and Danish Royalty, who have been waiting so patiently. They have been waiting so patiently, unless we are going to the third place brackets. Let me get the brackets back up here and so that I can understand, and maybe so that the chat can help us understand here. We just had the Skyrose versus Tribe.
Yep, our next match will be the Bwed versus Danish Royalty to see which of those two teams will make it to the final. Again, I'd just like to point out one of the things that really surprised me, took my breath away, Keanu Reeves style this tournament, was the end of yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw that all of the esports organizations like Fiery Tail, Tribe, 4 Elements, Skyrose, every one of those was in the lower brackets, with all of the independent teams like Bwed and Danish Royalty suddenly taking up the top tier. They were the ones who were winning every single one of their games, whereas the organizations were taking those early losses and then climbing up. So I cannot wait to see now how this match is going to go. We've got Bwed versus Danish Royalty, and whoever wins this match will go on into the finals versus Tribe, and then whoever loses will take on... Who will they take on?
Let me see here.
That'll be Skyrose, will it not?
I believe so. I believe you are correct. Skyrose will be the one that will be taking that lower bracket victory. I'm already calling the game apparently a victory, but they're going to be playing that lower bracket game. Let us see here. It looks like we do have our weapon bans and our maps chosen. Are we ready, Benzi?
We are, yes. Sorry, I was just getting a couple of details loaded in myself here. So again, this time around with Bwed versus Danish Royalty, we have seen both of these teams have some terrifying frontliners. Eltif is just utter filth if you give him a Thunderstorm or a Black Tusk. Bad with, what, 26,000 Black Tusk kills? Some insane number like that. Obviously, though, you cannot ban the Black Tusk in this tournament. Those early weapons are unbannable, just to make sure that it was fair for everyone.
Smart move.
So first of all, with our maps, we have Canyon, Magma, and then possibly Temple at the end. And with our weapons, Havoc has been banned, as has the Marauder. Surprise, surprise. Along with the Velocitus and the Proximity Mine. Now, the Havoc makes sense simply because we have Magma as a map, and again, it does very well on Canyon as well. The Velocitus, I think, is an unusual choice, just as neither of these two teams have been using it much this tournament, but that could have been about to change. We will never know now.
Oh, goodness. And I mean, you may have already understood, but I just need to clarify for me and maybe somebody in the chat. It looks like, actually, what we have going on is we are going to have Tribe taking the winning team of the loser, I say the loser, the lower bracket, and they're going to be playing whoever loses this next round with Bwed and the Danish Royalty. So I apologize if I confused anybody. I myself was confused, but now that should clear things up. Again, very neat way that we have the tournament bracket going here. Very excited to see this next game, Bwed and Danish Royalty.
I wouldn't apologize too much, El Toro. I think both of us are kind of losing our heads and tongues frequently in this. It's just too hype. I'm sorry, there is too much hype. I can't. Yeah, listen to me. Listen to me. My thoughts will not come out.
Control your tongue, sir.
You just cannot do it all.
Put a leash on that thing. Oh,
Yes,
goodness. All right. And I mean, am I mistaken, or maybe our stats haven't been completely updated? It looks like our teams are
Prepare to
very
fight.
even as far as their kills go. So this is going to be an intense round.
3, 2,
This is indeed going to
one.
be a very
Fight.
close round.
Oh,
Both
boy.
of these two teams are hyper aggressive, so we're going to see what happens here.
We could have some issue here. I did just see some messages going on in the chat. Possibly a false start. It looks like somebody might not have had their game ready to go. Okay, we're saying restart. Give us just a moment here, people, and we will get right back into this round.
That's some brilliant sportsmanship right there.
That
from
is
Bled.
very, very kind.
To explain what happened there, it looks like Full had a bit of an error and ended up his game crashed and dropped him out of the match, but just after the game had started. At which point, by the rules, it is entirely fair. As we said before yesterday, when Doom had his glitch halfway through a match, it is usual that the game will just continue. We are in beta with Armorjet. These things do happen. Ultimately, that's why we're here in beta, to test all of this stuff out. But in this case, Bled very quickly turned around and said, no, it's fine. We're willing to restart this match. We're just getting that set up now. Brilliant. Bled, they're quite putting their hands up and saying, we don't want to win because it's a 3-2. We want to win because we've done better than you, or we want to lose because you've done better than us. We want this to be a fair fight.
Absolutely. And you may have already addressed this. I was just checking again our stat sheets, and it looks like Bad, who is going to be the player to watch for Danish royalty, Canyon is their favorite map. So this is going to be quite the treat for them, coming right out of the gate with Bad's favorite map. I mean, how much hype do you have when you go into a match, knowing that you're playing your favorite map? I'm sure that gives you a little bit of an edge, where you feel a little bit more of that adrenaline rush of, I get to play on my favorite map.
In fairness, I tend to be so bad when it comes to playing this game. It's more a case of, I'm probably going to lose, but it's not Temple, so I'm not going to lose that badly.
You almost made me do a spit take there.
I do know what you mean. That moment when Snowbase comes up on the loading screen and I'm sitting there with a Tremor, a Venom, and a Ripper, I'm just like, yeah, boy, this is going to be good fun.
All right, we are resetting right now.
Sorry,
Things are
which one
looking
are you,
like that. Sorry, what were you asking?
I was just going to say, which map is it that you look forward to, and which one are you just like, oh boy, glad I packed that bad boy?
I mean, this is going to sound like a cop-out, but I think my top 3 maps would be Magma, Moon, and Temple. I have a tie in the love that I share for each of those maps, so whenever I see those maps getting upvoted for the next round, I get very excited. But that might just be me. Can't decide on one of the 3.
And which... Is there a particular weapon you tend to use going forward, like into these matches?
It depends. I typically will do Black Tusk if I'm doing Magma or Moon, since those are more close-knit games. But for Temple, I love to bust out my Long Claw and test out my aim ability, which sometimes is off, sometimes it turns out okay.
So you're a classic boy then, running the
I am.
Running the
I'm
main
basic
loadouts.
like that. I like to stay nice and vanilla.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. As I've said before, ultimately the Black Tusk and the Long Claw are probably the 2 most popular weapons in competitive Armorjet. There is no pay-to-win aspect at all to this game. Like, yeah, you can often buy blueprints to unlock your latest weapon that little bit faster, but not only does that not help you out that much in the long run, it doesn't get you anything that is, like, ridiculously powerful. It's not like any weapon in this game that is a higher unlock is just flat out better than the lower ones. If you've got those 3 lower weapons, you can quite happily take any tournament position. We saw like Kansura come in with, what was it, level 13, level 12, and level 8 players, for crying out loud, and they held their own in those games.
It definitely made a statement for players that are still learning the game, maybe still learning the ins and outs of, especially competitive play, which is a completely different pace than pubs. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Like recently, I'll be honest. Recently, Unreal about a year or two ago, their bots actually successfully passed a Turing test.
Wow.
They did a series of matches with bots versus human players, and more humans, there were more humans voted as, yeah, we think they're bots, than the bots. People thought that the bots were more human than the humans. So along comes, the Tyrrell Corporation, more human than human, and is living their cyberpunk dream. Those bots, however, are not Armorjet's bots. Armorjet's bots are these beautiful dichotomy. On one hand, they will grab all of the fuel cells in Fuel Frenzy, and at 10% health, they will charge headlong into the enemy team.
Painfully true.
They will stand in the fire and they will die, just because apparently they're a little bit cold and they needed heating up. But at the same moment, those bots will come out with a Lycan or a Dominion or every weapon that you cannot ever score a kill with, and they will win a match with it.
All right.
Well,
So
on one hand, go on.
Oh, you finish what your thought is. It looks like, just to give you some behind the scenes, I'm not sure if you are actually able to see what's going on in the pre-match right now. It looks like there's talk of maybe forfeiting a match because of a lack of a player, maybe even playing 2 versus 3, waiting to see what the ultimate decision is. It looks like it's still up in the air.
Yeah, by the tournament's official rule, it's supposed to be no 3 versus 2s. It is a case of if a player cannot turn up, then you forfeit that map. It would count as a loss on this map, and we would then move onwards to Magma, not getting a Canyon match. That said, it is ultimately up to the tournament organizers, but there we go. We have had the call. Doomslayer has announced that, sadly, that is a forfeit by loss.
Unfortunate there for
Danish royalty.
That's a tough way to
one
end
came
up.
down.
Ugh. That is one tough way to get a point loss for something, something like connection. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's ultimately not what we were hoping to see. We come into these tournaments, we want to see epic gameplay. We want to see people playing at their full level. When something like this happens, I mean, that's clearly through no fault of Soul. It's, he's had a game glitch, and he seems to be struggling to get back in. It's harsh. It's harsh, and that must feel terrible to come into, to come in and realize that you've lost a match that you haven't even been able to fire a shot in. It sucks, but it goes with the territory, and it's looking like we've got full back in the situation now.
So it looks like we are going to see some gameplay for this series. Danish is going to have to crawl their way back from already having a 1-0 deficit in the series itself. They have to win 2 rounds back to back.
Yeah, exactly. That does rather put Danish royalty on the back foot. They need to get a 2-0 on this. Where they now can... I'm not going to say, they can relax. They can't. They've got to still play the top game. But if they lose this match, it is not all over. Whereas for Danish royalty, everything comes down to this scoreboard.
All right. Getting the second round in the series ready to go. Man, I don't even know what to say. I just feel bad. I mean, that kind of thing happens. Tournament rules are rules. Luckily, it seems like both teams took that fairly and with dignity. Danish hoping to make a comeback here. Any thoughts on, Danish versus Brued? It's going to be a very intense gameplay. A lot of Black Tusk players that I notice here that are going to be playing in Magma, which is already close quarters.
Absolutely. I think we are just going to see, it's going to come down to which guys can use Black Tusk and frag grenades better. But here we go. I think we're doing the countdown and into the match now. So take it away, El Toro.
Absolutely. Here we go. Brued versus Danish royalty. First time playing for the tournament for today. They've had a lot of time to rest, hoping to see some excellent action and gameplay from them since they have had plenty of time to get warmed up and rest those mouse or touchpad fingers. Danish taking a 3-1 lead, 30 seconds into the game. We're seeing both teams playing pretty aggressively. Bwed pushing Danish into a corner there, hoping to be able to take a dominating lead. 5-3 right now. Quite the shot from Copters there. Copters can be pretty brutal if you've ever played against Copters. He has some savage gameplays. He's hoping to have some of those today, I am sure. Braun holding back, waiting for his health to recharge. He's got the double damage. He's got the, I believe that's the Leviathan.
Let me just take a little zoom in on that. That is indeed the Leviathan. The difference between the Leviathan and of course is that the, oh no, hang on. Braun is using the long claw. It looks like Copters was using
That's what it was. Thank you for thank you for the correction there. I was not sure who was showing up as the Velocitas. I mean the Leviathan there. Oh my goodness, 11-7.
Not a Velocitus.
Yeah, there is no Velocitus. Danish doubling the score right now, 7-14. Bwed has to make a comeback, or we are taking this to a third round, which would be, I'm sure, very pleasant for Danish having to have that first forfeit. They're trying to come back. They're making a statement that even though they had the connection issues, they're going to come back, and they're going to try to bring this to a round 3. 11-17. Danish not wanting to let go of that lead. Trying to get some kills with that airstrike from Bwed. 12-18, 1 minute left in the game. What do you think? Is Bwed going to come back, or is Danish going to hold this lead? There comes another airstrike.
I think this is going to be a very, very tough fight for Bwed to come back from, but they are more than capable of doing it, especially here as the double damage is about to pop. And there it comes down. Suki grabs it, but unfortunately cannot hold it. And there's your jetpack kill.
There it is.
There was your jetpack kill.
Oh, I couldn't hold in my excitement. I almost bursted. Oh, that's an exciting moment. We were hoping for that to happen here. Bwed bringing it to only a 2-point lead for Danish. This is probably making their hearts rate just a little bit bad. Able to escape, but not the drone. Nox's drone takes out Bwed.
It's work.
1 point difference. Full weak, but he's able to escape. Runs right into Copters. As Copters is going to be able to take out Full. He gets back to full health. It is tie game right now. 15 seconds left. What a shot by Braun. Able to take out Copters there, giving them the lead. 10 seconds left. They just have to hold it. Full taken out. It is a tie game. We might be going into overtime, ladies and gentlemen, but there goes Danish Royalty taking a 2-point lead for the round 2 victory. Wow.
Can I just get an F in the chat for Full's really, really risky suicide drop there? There was a moment where Full saw, I can't remember who it was, in the bottom rank there from Bwed, right along the bottom row. Full caught sight of someone on low HP, swept in with his Thunder Tusk to try and take him out. Unfortunately, straight into the waiting hands of the other two Bwed players. So that full-on dive down, like, yes, I've got you now, only to see that their two big brothers were standing there with shotguns. But what a match!
What a match
there, Toro.
Got the hype. We got the well, we didn't get the overtime. We almost had the overtime. It was so back and forth. We got our jetpack kill. How are you feeling about that?
I love the fact that we got that jetpack kill in there. Damage as well. It got took the double damage back out of play and a jetpack kill in one go. That's an MVP moment right there for me. You know, that's the kind of stuff that sticks in your head, and I'm hoping someone in the chat clips that. But I think what a game. You know, we knew this was going to be a tough one for both teams. They're both hyper-aggressive frontliners, full of hyper-aggressive frontliners. It's always going to be a bloodbath, and just on Temple as well. This has become one of those maps where the thunderstorm can really reign king if you're not careful.
Oh yeah. I'm interested to see how this game plays out, because like you said, a lot of these frontliners are running Black Tusk on a typical basis. This might be opening it up and making them spread out, maybe getting some long-range weapon. Danish getting split up, but they come together right away. Bwed also moving like a unit. Look at these teams clashing at the top. What a way to start the round there. Good movement, good positioning by both teams. Tie game right now. Nox is trying to escape. He's going to get attacked from now both directions, taken out by Full. Danish taking the 3-1 lead. Copter's all by himself, getting weak. He's trying to escape and get that health. Oh, he chooses not to get the health, and that costs him from bad there. Danish 42
I think he ran out of fuel, actually.
Oh, I didn't notice the fuel gauge. Thank you for noticing that. That is a very good point. this game is also a lot about how much you manage your jet fuel. You only have so much that is in your jetpack before it has to recharge, and Copters was a victim of just misjudging his jetpack health by just a little bit. Bwed taking the lead now, 7-5. 1 minute into the round, 2 minutes left. What are your thoughts so far?
I think this is a very, very close match, and the fact that here we've just witnessed Bwed stepping back, leaving that double damage alone for Copters to come in and grab that Leviathan. I was hoping we'd get a bit more damage from him with it. Unfortunately, not quite. The score is just going to stay equal for a long time. We've got two teams that are both running very similar loadouts, very, very similar skills. It just really comes down to positioning and who's caught out. Like takes a full rinse of his HP, not quite enough to die. He's holding on by a sliver of his health, gets that drone out, but he's pulling the kills in as well. Every point scored is a point given.
Oh, and Braun must have eaten his Wheaties because he survived that airstrike. I'm not sure if you saw that. He did not even get a scratch from that airstrike, and it landed right on his head. 12. Now 13-11 for Bwed. If they can hold this lead for the next minute, it does not look like that is going to be the case. Danish is not going down that easily. 14-13, anybody's game. Bwed right now trying to guard that double damage, that they get that advantage, that leg up, and hopefully can distance themselves from Danish's score. Right now it is tied. What a clash at the middle. Suki able to get the double damage, trying to survive, keeping that low health. Oh, and they get taken out by Braun. Well played by Braun. 16-17, Danish has the lead right now, 30 seconds left.
It is literally kill streak after kill streak. Like Bron get 3 kills in a row. I watch Copters get 3 kills, and again there's with a jetpack kill onto full. You watch that, they're just passing the damage around.
Oh boy, here comes another airstrike.
Oh, this is tense. They're all taking cover in the lower section. We've got less than 10 seconds, and it's a 3-point lead for Danish.
Oh boy, and they take the victory.
They do.
Oh boy, oh boy. Coming back from having to forfeit their first round. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Give me your thoughts on how this entire series went for those two teams, Bwed versus Danish Royalty.
I think ultimately that right there was that was an emotional roller coaster. Obviously, you've got two teams who are desperately trying to fight for that top prize spot. We know that whoever wins that match is going to go through against. Who are they going up against?
I'm getting the updated bracket right now.
We haven't got to that point yet. It'll be Bwed versus Tribe. No, sorry, Danish Royalty versus Tribe.
There we go.
For that final. So whoever won that match was going to go up against Tribe in the finals for that $250 prize pool. Whoever loses that match walks away still with a very respectable and a massive, in fact, 2,000 Paragon. Down then in the lower bracket was whoever loses this match ultimately has a fight on their hands to win that very respectable 1,000 Paragon. So it's a match that has a lot of meaning because you go from having a Paragon or cash prize to just having a Paragon prize, or even like walking away empty-handed. So I think there's a lot was riding on that match. Both teams were going full pedal to the metal there, and we saw that both of them come straight out of the gate in every match. A little bit sad that we didn't get that first match, but I'm not entirely convinced it would have changed anything anyway. Canyon and Temple are very similar maps if you're playing as frontliners. It ultimately is just going to change using things like the Badger and other curved trajectory weapons, which would do better on Canyon. That said, we haven't really seen either Bwed or Danish Royalty running those weapons, so I'm not convinced it would have changed anything at all. This does mean that going forward, though, we are now completely in best of 5 territory. Yes. So I need to do some gargling and warming my voice up, because this is about to get tense for these last 2 series.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be so exciting. I love best of 5 because that gives them not only one chance to bring it back to a tie, but 2 chances to tie the series back up and take it to a 5th round. I am so hyped for this. Best of 5 really ups the intensity, ups the ante, to make sure both teams are playing at their peak performance.
And hopefully being best of 5, we see a few more.
What was that, Benzie?
But how
I'm so
about you?
sorry.
I said, and hopefully with it being best of 5, we might get a few more snow-based
Yes.
matches. That would make my evening. But what about you? What do you think? What do you think the chances are going here? We've got Danish royalty up against Tribe. Sorry, our next game, is going to be Bwed versus Tribe. What do you reckon the chances are here?
Bwed versus Tribe. Are you asking me about the chances for seeing Snowbase?
No, the
just in
chances for
general?
both teams. In general, what do you think is going to happen in this one? I
mean,
mean, chances of seeing
Bwed versus
Snowbase.
So I think the only disadvantage I could tell, the only Achilles heel weakness that Bwed might have is a little bit of the synergy that you will get from Tribe Gaming. Tribe, again, is one of the solidified teams of Armajet, where Bwed is a little bit of a mixed match team. They have played together. They're all friends as far as I'm aware in the Armajet community, but you might have the benefit of Tribe having the synergy of being a team. What are your thoughts?
I think definitely everyone's friends in the Armajet community. Come on, man.
That's a very good way of putting it. We're all buds. Arma fam, right?
But you'd certainly think that the teams certainly scrim together more often, I suppose, than these unique setups like Bwed and Danish royalty. So I kind of have to, just on paper, I want to agree with you there. That when you look at it just on those stats, yeah, the teams that play together more often and are sort of more formal teams should have that advantage, but we'll have to see. Have to see. I do feel sorry for Bwed coming straight out of those 3 games, going into possibly 5 fresh ones. That's going to be draining.
That is, and especially like I said, with a team like Tribe, I mean, they're gonna have their hands full. They're going to absolutely have.
Deathmatch.
And I think we're getting our details come through on what the maps are. Yes, we are getting those added gradually now. Looking forward to seeing Snowbase not be picked, even when there are 5 maps. That's actually a good question. Can they ask for the same map twice? Or do they have to go
Good
for
question.
Snowbase?
I imagine that they could actually be voting for the same maps. I'm not sure if there was any hard and fast rules set in the rules ahead of time. But I mean, I'm not sure if that is something that'd be against the rules, or if that might be a good strategy to be able to dominate on a map and then have them play back to back, incidentally from the other team picking it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's nothing officially in the rules that says either way, which I would take to mean that yes, they can. That said, I do take it as a kindness from both teams that we've not seen maps doubled up in this tournament so far. I think there's a certain almost sourpuss feel to that, of like, we know we're good on this map, so we're going to force you to play it 2 or 3 times. I'm glad to see that there has been that spread, and we now have our details.
Yep.
So this time around, our maps are going to start with Magma, move on to Moon, then Temple, then Canyon, and Snowbase takes up the 5th slot. So even with 5 missiles, even with 5 matches, missiles? Even with 5 matches, we may not see Snowbase. Our bands, come on chat, what do you reckon one of the bands is at least? I really want to see someone guess it, because the other one is going to be Venom and Sticky Grenade, and yep. What is the other one going to be?
Prepare to fight.
Havoc and Marauder. Of course it is.
Of
course it is.
All right, going
3,
here into the first
2,
round of the series
1,
on Magma,
fight.
Bwed versus Tribe Gaming. Both teams getting an even split there with their spawns. Copter's trying to take that positioning for Bwed, but smart move, backing up, knowing that he would have been outnumbered if he tried to take that by himself. Bwed taking the first points here on the scoreboard. Tribe has an answer right back. Delike getting a stick with the Nightfall. I'm excited to see some sweet sticks from Delike coming around with this gameplay, but it's 2-3 right now. Tribe taking the first lead of theirs for this round.
Oh, there it is.
What a shot. What a shot. Getting double damage. Oh, almost getting double damage here. It is about to spawn, but Nox is denying them from having that positioning, getting the double damage with the Black Dust. He's going to be able to do some work right now for Bwed, get them those points back that they seem to lose in the beginning there. He's being chased right now across the top, cat and mouse style. taking out Samo has Jenkins weak right now. Takes Jenkins out as well. Good work by Noxus utilizing that double damage to be able to 1v2 the other team right there, doubling their score right now. 11-5 lead by Bwed. 1 minute gone in this match. There goes the first airstrike. Nox is also setting off a drone. Go ahead and give me some thoughts here, Captain Benzi.
I've got to say that double damage steal there was exactly the best way. That was a by the book steal and securing of the double damage. They neither team rushed in for it. In fact, Noxus held back perfectly, waited for the other team, baited them in, then rinsed them down, swooped in, grabbed it for himself, and then just went on a killing spree with it. Like, seriously, I think there was like 5 kills from Noxus before he finally lost the double damage and died. That's brutal work, and that has really done the work there for Bwed.
Bwed.
1 minute remaining.
Bwed.
Tribe trying to make an answer and a comeback here. 18-10 though for Bwed. Bwed is holding on to their lead. Right now, Tribe has 2 drones, 3 drones flying around, trying to help them do work and outnumber the other team. It doesn't seem to be doing much help though right now. The drones are going the other way. They don't know which way the team is going. Nox is trying to take out Delikes drone there. 19-13, narrowing the gap by just a little bit. Tribe has only 30 seconds to get 6 or 7 kills to take this series. I'm sorry, not take the series, take this round. We have Jenkins getting taken out with double damage. Nox is going to take that double damage once again. It takes getting taken out right away by Samo. Wow, getting bounced around like a hot potato. 21-15, 15 seconds left for 5-point difference. I mean, Tribe is going to have to make quite a statement here if they're going to come back. Last 10 seconds, only a 4-point difference. It looks like Bwed is going to hold this lead. 3 points.
2, 1.
And
Round
that
over.
is the first round of Bwed versus Tribe Gaming. How do you feel like that match went? That felt like it was really exciting.
That was very much an early lead there by Bwed. They came in, they took a slight lead, they then solidified that lead with Nox's amazing double damage play there.
Yes.
Like, seriously, I cannot understate.
MVP.
That was a perfect. When I do tutorial videos, I want to use that footage as this is how you take and use double damage. Exactly. So yeah, I think we're coming straight down now to, you know, that was the kind of stuff that secured their lead. They then just held on to that. They had a bit of fun with it at the end and straight on. You know, it's fantastic stuff.
Very fantastic gameplay. That Nox's play got me hyped. Not to bash on Nox, but I think he's one of the players that you will see that he can have very solid gameplay, and then he'll have a very high death round. But plays like that where he's able to get in there with his aggressive gameplay. He's a very aggressive player. He plays that Black Tusk so hard. I'm surprised it's not just a smoking, melting mess in his hands by the end, because he will wear that thing out. But if he is on his game, if he is playing with that double damage, you're going to see plays like that coming from him. You're going to see him getting those wins for Bwed. Like he told me when we played together, he will carry the team by himself if he has to. So it depends on what day you get a Nox gameplay.
No, absolutely.
All right, this next round is going to be on Moon. Another very close quarters game. Like I said, one of my favorite maps just for the symmetry. I'm the type of guy that likes to see the symmetry here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bwed did take that last one, correct?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
correct.
I'm so sorry. I got tripped up for a second in my brain, and I got my colors confused. Guys, red and blue, it's not hard. It's not hard. We've been knowing it ever since Halo days. We should know red versus blue, right?
We have Woo Bwed. That's how I'm remembering this one.
I love it.
Woo Bwed.
I love it. The little tricks that we'll have to make sure we're ready to go as casters.
You'd be amazed. There are so many like I've done through this, like sitting there reminding myself that Tribe's logo is red, so they're the red team, or that Sky Rose is red because roses are red, or the sky is blue, depending.
Ooh,
just little
could
tricks.
go either way.
Exactly. Sky Rose, you can work it either way. When Sky Rose are blue, it's because they're sky. When they're red, it's because they're
Prepare to
rose.
Yep.
Can more people name their teams like this, please?
Getting
3,
into the second
2,
round of this series,
1.
best of 5, Bwed versus Tribe Gaming. Tribe has an advantage here being right centered while Brad gets split up for their their spawns here. That gives them a little bit of a disadvantage, in my opinion, having to split up and come together as a team right at the beginning, at the get-go, when you have somebody like Tribe who's going to be prowling for you to get you on 1v1 situations like they just did right there with Suki, taking a 0-3 lead. Strong start from Tribe Gaming. They are staying very consistent. They're moving very well as a team. They seem to be very synergetic right now. I'm sure the VCs are just lit up with telling each other of the positioning and where each other are at, and that's what you want to see. That makes for a successful team. It looks like Sam was able to pick up the double damage as well as Invis. That's going to make him a very powerful asset for Tribe Gaming. And sure enough, it is a 3-5 deficit right now. Bled trying to make a comeback, but we see 4-6 right now. Tribe holding their lead, 5-7, answering back and forth. Wow, just like a boomerang, these scores are going back and forth right now. Tribe holding the lead, Bled able to tie it up. 1 minute down. Benzi, give me your thoughts. Buenzi. That's okay. We got Tribe and Bled going at it. Tribe holding their lead. Bled keeps tying it up, but we're not seeing any coming ahead of Bled. This very well could go either way. We are only halfway through the match. Very strong gameplay from both teams. Seeing good use of our ults, good use of the invis and double damage. It's looking like we're going to be coming a little bit of a ways away before those spawn again, but Bled is trying to hold that positioning in the middle so that they have the advantage there. 2-point difference in the game right now. Bled, like I said, they're playing very strong. They're trying to make this deficit smaller. They're narrowing the gap. They're trying to tie that game up and take the lead. Tribe is just unrelenting though. It looks like Jenkins has a drone that is stuck right now, but that might be to their advantage, trying to protect that double damage and the invis, which right now Tribe has both. They're taking a 4-point lead. Almost 30 seconds left in the game. 5-point difference. If Bled can make up this difference, they will take this round, but it's looking like Tribe is going to be too strong with that invis and with that double damage. Samo doing work. Like doing work, being really sneaky. 7-point deficit right now. Tribe holding the lead. 15 seconds left in the match. Still a 17-point difference. Wow. We are seeing some very action-packed gameplay. Very good gameplay from both teams. Tribe finally able to pull away here in the end. Getting a win right now for Tribe. Tying up the series 1-1. Very, very good gameplay. Very good gameplay here by Tribe. Very good gameplay by Bled. Back and forth. Unfortunately, Bled not able to make it back. I might have lost my buddy Benzi. Benzi, are you back?
I am just back. My sincerest apologies
no,
for that.
No, you are fine.
We just had a catastrophic power outage right here, which is the most terrifying thing.
You got thunderstruck, man. You got thunderstormed.
No, not at all. It's clear skies out here, but when the power goes in the middle of the African bush, there is nothing but me and the stars.
All right.
But I'm back. How did the game go?
The game went great. Tribe was able to pull away for the victory, but it was back and forth there for quite some time. Bled kept trying to bring the deficit to a tie, and they were successful in bringing it to ties. Maybe 3 or 4 times even, but Tribe just kept pulling away, and at the end they ended up with, I think, a 5 or 6 point difference between the two scores. I wish you were there for the end to see how Tribe was able to do that, because really, in my opinion, it was so even gameplay. Both teams were playing very strong. The one thing I would think of is toward the end there, Tribe was able to get both the invis and the double damage, and that, I think, was the difference maker. Right in the clutch and 30 seconds, they were able to make that difference up and take the round for the series. Right now, it is just 1-1. Any thoughts?
Well, I think if both teams are now on their first point each, this is great for us, as it means more matches. We're not just having one team run away with the victory and take it. We get that much more tense matchup. We get more games to talk about, more excitement to go over. That's a win in my book. I mean, it's a win-win quite literally for the players, but it's a win-win for us too. So we now move on to our third match, which is going to be on Temple, I believe. Am I correct in that one? Yep, here we go. We are ready
Right
to
into
start.
it.
El Toro, take it away. I am
Waste.
watching this time.
Wasting no
3,
time. Wed and
2,
Tribe going right at it into
1.
Temple.
Fight.
I'm so looking forward to seeing the clash of the Titans up at the top. Wed getting split up, but they are in safe territory because Tribe was spawned at the bottom. Wed taking some good positioning right now, trying to hold that top. Good play here. Taking a 1-0 lead. Tribe dominating the top right now. They're trying to hold that positioning. Again, that is a very strong place to hold for this game. Wow, what a play by Noxus, taking out Samo and Jenkins both at the top. Like I said, this is going to be a clash of the Titans round at the top. We're going to see some lightning gameplay at the top, both metaphorically and literally. We're going to see some lightning play. Unless maybe somebody isn't going to be running Thunderstorm this time around, and I'm going to be standing corrected. Wed holding a 5-3 lead. Give me some thoughts. Looks like we got dropped double damage there by Samo.
Absolutely, yeah. They've managed to. It looks very much like Tribe trying to hold on to that double damage to the best of their ability. They know that it can change everything in the game. Currently, that score is staying equal by both teams ultimately trying to hold on and controlling that double damage is helping keep that score equal. But it does look like Wed are taking a lead. Certainly, it's now 9 points to 6. Copters is doing some damage with that Leviathan.
And as you can see from the chat, it looks like maybe we had some bugging going on, but unfortunately it is too late in the round to restart. They're going to have to play as is. Wed holding a lead right now, 2-point difference halfway through the round. Man, either team still could take this. Very strong players on both teams. Very action-packed gameplay that we're seeing here. Noxus needs to try to stay alive. He is dead center. He's able to make it back to that health. Very good maneuvering there by him, being able to predict where the other team might be going. Samo, I believe, is over there by himself, taken out by Suki. Suki now has 2 kills right now on the kill streak. Airstrike coming in from above. This is a deathly map to have an airstrike happen because it can hit so many places in this map.
No, absolutely. If you're on the top of that, on top of Temple, you can really take some hefty damage from an airstrike. That said, it is very easy to avoid just by diving down low. And my goodness, just every time I look at one side of the screen, action is happening on the other. We can see there, Copter's desperately trying to hold on. But
Samo
too
good.
Just clean on.
Too good with that long claw. What
it.
shots by Samo right now. He's putting on a clinic. Oh man, he tried to predict where who's that? Suki was gonna be. Missed a shot by just a little bit. Tribe really bringing back this deficit that they were in for just a moment. They brought it to a 2-point difference. Still anybody's game. 15 seconds left. Tribe can come back and bring this to overtime or even take the victory. I don't know though. 2-point difference, less than 10 seconds. Tribe's gonna have to push to get those last 2 kills. Brings it to a 1-point difference. And Wed's able to hold it for that round, taking a 2-1 in the series. We still have possibly even 3 more matches. I'm sorry, 2 more matches to go. What are your thoughts here, Benzi?
I just loved at the end there, Noxus sitting there and just hiding in the top left pillar. Like, don't come after me. Just
I
leave
saw
it.
that.
We have the lead. If I can just survive, that's
Just
all
in a little
this
perch.
matters. Which, in fairness, that's a perfectly valid tactic in this kind of situation.
Absolutely.
With play this close, the game is as much about surviving as it is about killing. That's why we have kill-death ratios, not just kills.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm glad to see we've now got 2. It's now 2 points to Bled, 1 point to Tribe. We go into our 4th match now for this series, which is going to be on Canyon, I believe.
That is
with
correct.
no venom. With no venom, that's not too bad a map. We might see some Badger play, I'd hope, here. We know certainly these guys have been using that in the past, so let's jump right in and see how this one goes. Can they get to a 2-2 and into a 5th match, or are we just gonna finish this off here? Can Wed take it now?
Death match.
Please.
Right, please, for Benzi's sake.
Come on, Tribe, get this one just so I can see Snowbase.
Oh boy, let's see here. We are in the round. We might be getting started here in just a second. I mean, these teams are very evenly matched, which is exactly what we would have hoped for these semifinals, the quarterfinals. Most every round we've seen today, we've seen very close, similar teams playing to the death. Best of 5 is making it like a little bit more intense. Teams are going to start getting tired playing. I'm sure by now they're already getting a little worn. Maybe their minds are not quite as sharp as they were at the first round of the series. What do you think it takes to really keep your head in the game, stay level-headed, keep your mind crisp and clear on exactly what they need to win this round in Armajet?
I think that requires a lot of focus. That's the kind of thing where you really just got to, you've got to get yourself into the zone of play, to the point where you stop thinking about what you're doing and your thumbs are just either sliding your screen or your fingers are dancing across your keyboard. The mouse is clicking away like, like some kind of erratic clock. You reach that point where your arms and the device you're using become one. Neither ends, they are just this melding of mesh of mind, flesh, and machine.
You're not wrong.
It's a cyberpunk nightmare. But no, I think genuinely, once you hit that zone, it's why I think we've had these situations where let me just check my theory here before I go into this one. Whereas we've seen the games that were played, Tribe played 2 in a row and ended up winning through.
Yeah.
Bwed played 2 in a row and ended up winning through. I think, in fairness, playing these long periods of time can just get you in that zone. You start performing, you hit the peak of your game and then you plateau at that peak. I don't think a peak is something you hit and then immediately start sliding.
Agreed. So hopefully both teams are still feeling nice and fresh here for round 4 of the series. Tribe, there's a lot of stake for Tribe. If they win this, that takes it to a round 5. If not, this goes to Bwed. Right now, Bwed has a 1-point lead, but Tribe is going to try to take control of that middle area. They're double thunderstorming the other team right now, and that, as we saw yesterday, is a very powerful combination. That double thunderstorm, that's hard to get away from, that's hard to combat. As long as those two can stay together with that thunderstorm play is going to, in my opinion, be the difference maker for Tribe if they can stay together and double up on that thunderstorm. Samo able to take the double damage for Tribe. Tribe holding a lead right now, 2-5. Delight making some good maneuvers to get away and escape. He's very low on health right now.
Absolutely agree with you there on the thunderstorm. That weapon deals damage so quickly that having 2 of them out, you have no hope of surviving that. If it's 2 thunderstorm versus 1 person, that 1 person is going to be down.
Delight and Suki taking each other out at the same time, simultaneous death. Good aggressive gameplay there by Jenkins, taking him out in the corner, trying to take out Copters right now. Another double death. Copters actually ended himself for that one. That was unfortunate on his part, but he, I'm sure, was thinking worth. He was thinking worth to try to get Jenkins out of that spot.
Beautiful moment of Tsuki there, doing a perfectly timed boost to dodge a single shot from a drone. That shot would have killed him and given a point to the team. That boost was perfectly timed to get him into that lower corridor and just give him that breathing space to rest up and get his health back. But sadly there, Jenkins bounces off the pad straight to waiting drone. And that drone is doing work!
That drone is doing a lot of work for Noxus. For the team of Bwed right now, that I think that was the difference where they were able to get to 13-10. It was back and forth, tie game over and over until I believe that drone ended up being that 4th player they needed. 14-10 for Bwed. 1 minute left in the round. 4-point difference. Bwed, if they can take this double damage, they might be just adding more insult to injury here, but Tribe is able to take it if Samo can hold on to it. He's got that long range with the double damage weapon. He's going to be able to do some work if he's able to get his shots, land those shots, gets one on Copter right now, misses the one for Noxus. Noxus is able to get back, but he goes down to Delight. Tribe shortening this deficit right now, 18-16, only 2-point difference, 30 seconds left, less than 30 seconds even. We've seen no score move for a few seconds now. What are your thoughts into the last moments of this round?
Definitely making that double damage work for them there, Tribe, getting as much out of it as they can, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Without that double damage, Bwed are just their aggression with those short-range weaponry. That's it for him. 5-point lead, and the match ends. That is the end of that series. Bwed moves onwards. Tribe, that's the series done. 3-1 to Bwed.
That is it.
And what a series that was. I've seen plenty of very aggressive short-range play there, plenty supported by the long range, which actually is usually the other way around. You tend to more have your sniper sort of dancing at a distance, with the frontliners sort of either cleaning up whatever your sniper doesn't finish off, or protecting your sniper. In this case around, it was very much the frontliners going in, doing the damage, and then the snipers just picking off the scraps.
Yeah. Very interesting gameplay, in my opinion, from both teams. From my opinion, they seem to switch it up just a little bit, besides that very last game where I feel like Bwed just they knew they needed to have that double thunderstorm in order to take the win. And sure enough, they did. And of course, I'm eating my words because I thought that Tribe would have had the edge over Bwed. But Bwed, they have strong players. You have Noxes, you have Copters. Suki is a new one for me, but I mean, they played very strong as well. That team as a whole was able to take that series over Tribe, even though Tribe put up quite the effort as we expected for them to do. Any other difference makers that you think made it where Bwed had the edge over Tribe?
I really don't know. I think just ultimately with Bwed, these guys have obviously been scrimming a lot together, perhaps by sheer didn't that they're not in a tournament, like in a tournament organization. Perhaps these guys are just filling in for each other. They know each other really well. There's clearly a lot of synergy going on there. You just need to watch Bwed fly and realize that those guys are literally zoning in on one particular player. You watch two guys come in, either Thunderstorm or with the Black Tusk. They are rinsing one player down at a time, singling them out, killing them, moving on to the next. It is literally like watching predators hunt. But sadly, that does mean that Tribe ultimately walk away with nothing at the end of this tournament, other than a series of epic games under their belt. So really not like walking away with nothing, but no prize for them, I'm afraid. Bwed have taken there. I believe that now means Bwed have taken hold of the third place. Would I be correct in that?
Okay, actually, so here I got a little bit thrown off there as well. If we look at the bracket that I have up right now, we're going to be seeing Danish Royalty versus Bwed, and I believe you are correct that they have solidified the third place, and this will determine who is taking second or first. No, that doesn't make sense as I'm saying it out loud now either. I apologize. Tribe wins third place is what I'm being told here. I apologize. Thank you so much for the correction there. I was talking myself in circles and I got very confused myself.
There we are. Yeah, sorry. Now that I can see that graphic as well myself, yes. Tribe now take third place. Bwed versus Danish again. So I was hype about Bwed versus Danish, and I get to see this twice in one tournament. That is amazing. So congratulations, Tribe. 1,000 Paragon. That is not nice to be sniffed at.
No, not at all.
That'll do them very nicely. But what are your thoughts going forward for these two then? We saw Bwed and Danish before, and obviously Danish came forward. Bwed lost that particular one. Do you reckon we're going to see the same, or do you reckon that Bwed have the edge now? Because good lord, Bwed have now played. This is going to be how many games in a row?
I think I think it's their third or fourth. I mean, my goodness, though, they have got to either be feeling very tired or very invigorated and just riding that wave of victory to the top. They might be able to ride this all the way to the top. Danish has a very strong team, though, so they might just stop them dead in their tracks.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be one for the ages, I think. This really is going to be one for the ages. Let's have a look. Do we have the details of the maps? Yes, we do. So I'm going to run down these very, very quickly. This should be no surprise for anyone. And we are starting with Magma, then Temple, Moon, Canyon, and Snowbase is relegated to that 5th position again. Why does everyone hate Snowbase? For our bans... Nope, everything just got taken off my screen. There we are. Havoc and Marauder to surprise nobody. And the Nightfall has been listed as one of the bans. I'm only seeing that one, so give me a second. I'm just going to dive through and have a look and find out what that other ban was. We've got the Nightfall and the Marauder and the Proximity Mine. There we go. There we are. So we're looking Nightfall, Marauder, Havoc, and Proximity Mine as our bans.
Thank you for also letting me know about that, because I'm out of that window right this moment. So you said Nightfall Marauder for Team 1, and Team 2 has the Havoc and the Marauder?
Nightfall and Proximity, Havoc and Marauder.
Nightfall Proximity. Thank you so much. I apologize for that mix-up, and thank you for keeping my head on straight there, Benzie.
No worries. As I said, this entire thing has been so hype. It is hard to keep your head solidly on your shoulders. This is brutal. I love it in the best way possible.
Oh my gosh, though, chat, like this, it really is hitting me right now. This is for the gold, is it not? This is for the gold.
Absolutely. This is our last best of 5. This is our last series for this absolutely epic 4 Elements Jet Fest. So I think this is perfect chance for me to give a major thank you. First of all to 4 Elements. You guys have run an incredible tournament. I know we've still got this one final match to go, but I want to say all this now.
Yes.
An incredible tournament. Beautiful artwork, beautiful support behind the scenes. You guys have just made this run so smoothly. El Toro, you have been an amazing host, and I'm absolutely overjoyed to be able to have this opportunity to shoutcast with you.
Thank you so much.
Chat, without you, this would not happen at all. Anyway, let's jump into this game. El Toro, take it to the skies.
All right, we got Bled, who's dead center. They're gonna get, wow, pounced and trampled on, but Danish has the answer. They are 2-1 right now. What a good move here by Bad, able to survive and take out the other team. Braun took himself out for them. Danish, I mean, I'm gonna be excited to see if Bad is able to hold his strong Thunderstorm gameplay he has had so far for the duration of the match. 3-2, holding their lead. 4-2, pushing Wed to the right there. If they can hold their spawn there, they might have them trapped, but it looks like Wed is making the smart move by I'm sorry, the name is escaping me down there. Is that Nox's? Yeah, he is trying to move the spawns to make sure that they don't get stuck in one spot. Very smart play by them. And by him in particular. 6-4 lead right now by Danish, holding that lead. So far, 1 minute down.
Yeah, Nox is desperately holding on to that last little bit of health. Unfortunately, his escape path led him straight into Full's waiting Thunderstorm. We've got a beautiful dance going on here currently with Bron trying to keep his distance and pound away with that Badger. He manages to, like, not quite kill, but it's enough to help out his teammates. As I said, sometimes it's not about you getting the kill, it's just dealing enough incidental damage that someone else scores that final. And my goodness, it's close. Neither team willing to concede much ground, pushed into the top right corner, but Danish just cleans that up.
Very well played by Danish there. Speaking of dancing, I mean, we're seeing a lot of 1v1 situations happening where the teams are breaking off. Look at Full going dead into Bwed's territory. He almost took on 1v3 there, and he seemed to survive and get away just fine. Danish taking a very dominant lead right now with 1 minute left. 17-11 now. 1 minute left in this round. Kaka's getting taken up from behind by Full. Full seems to be very poised and ready to take this round for his team. Finally gets taken out by Suki's Sentry, actually. 19-13, 1 minute left. Any thoughts as to how we're going to end this round, first round of the finals?
I think it's going to be very, very difficult now for Bwed to catch up on this one. I think Danish have got a nice solid lead. Bwed, as try as they might, that Venom is not quite an aggressive enough weapon at this point in time. But of course, you can't swap weapons in Armor Jet until you die, and they don't want to give that point away. But at this stage in the game, it's hard for a Venom to take that take those kills. And what a shot there by Bron. Hammers straight downwards and narrowly avoids getting hit with a jetpack kill.
Wow. Excellent gameplay. Danish, to me, looking very poised, very ready to take on this finals. I think we're going to be looking ahead to some very exciting gameplay. Bwed is going to have to come back from this loss. A 10-point difference. Full, like I said, very strong gameplay. 17-8, 2 assists. I mean, he carried the team for the most part. Wow, really good gameplay by Full.
No, absolutely. I think there's a certain amount of mind games going on here.
Sure.
Bwed obviously, we know that Bwed and Danish have already had a big throwdown. and that didn't go quite so well for Bwed last time. So I think there's a lot of you've got to go into that situation, Toro. You've got to go into that situation where you've already lost to this team, and you now know that if you can beat them this time, you've got a big $250 prize sitting just to the other side. You've got to go into that being very, very aware that it's kind of all or nothing, and I don't know. I don't think I could handle that pressure personally.
Me either. I'm glad it's not me in that arena with these teams. All these teams showing some very strong gameplay, as we've said before, throughout this whole series. But my goodness, I think these finals are going to be the apex, the absolute pinnacle of the intensity that we've seen so far today. Danish and Bwed, I don't think Bwed's going to give it up that easy. They might have let them have that 10-point deficit loss for this first round, but they're about to answer them, I feel like, in Temple. It'll be interesting to see how they try to come back.
Yeah, certainly. I think once you sort of hit a certain loss streak, you can kind of just accept that, no, we've lost this round. We're not going to pull this back. So you kind of almost relax into that, let the loss happen, and then tense yourself up, tighten up, and spring ready back into your second round. So here we are on Temple for said second round. Let's see how they guys do.
Will be exciting to see. Temple, a much more open map than Magma,
Prepare
as well
to
as
fight.
much more open than our next round, even after this Moon. So this will be probably a breath of fresh air. We're going to see maybe a little bit of a different strategy and gameplay from both teams. Getting started here on Temple. Very open map. Danish getting split up in their spawns. I always like to notice how interesting teams can bounce back from having spawns like that, which is a little bit unfortunate, but Danish seeming to take a lot of control here of the map, getting good placement. Braun is trying to escape, but Noxus is too aggressive and was able to take him out there. Again, getting aggressive and getting bad.
Suki there in the start.
Oh, I missed the play by Suki from full. Oh my goodness, 5-3 though. Danish, again, taking a very comfortable lead right now. Still seeming very poised. I think that break did them wonders, and Bwed maybe starting to feel a little bit of fatigue here. Still playing strong, but not strong enough to come back from Danish. Right now, they've reduced the series to be 7-6, only a 1-point difference. Almost 1 minute into the match. Give me your initial thoughts.
I think, bless him, Suki had one heck of a harsh start there. On his own at the top left of the screen. Nothing you can do about that, and that immediately means it's a 3 versus 2 situation. And crikey, just again, the aggression, the shots coming out here. It's hard to... Oh!
Wow.
Can they hose him down? Can they hose him down? No.
Bullets flying everywhere right now. Full trying to survive all on his own there on the top left. He's going to try to reunite with his team. Or maybe not. He's going Rambo over here against the whole other team, getting taken out by Nox's drone. Maybe a mistake there by Full. Giving Bwed the lead right now, 13. Oh, now it's tied up 13-13 halfway through the round. Here comes an airstrike from Danish Royalty. This might give them a little bit of the edge. Sure enough, they pull ahead by 2 right now over Bwed. Bwed trying to answer. They have Suki's placed a sentry over at one of the spawns if they can get those spawns to flip, or if they can draw them in towards it. Right now, I mean, very strong gameplay from both teams. 1 minute left, only a 2-point difference. Now made a 1-point difference, now a tie game. Wow. Bwed and Danish tied up right now, 1 minute left. It looks like both teams took a second there to breathe, and then sure enough, the clash at the top. Danish coming ahead right now by 2 points. Copter's got their sentry moving around. Ooh. Full's got
invis and double damage on Full.
Wow.
That's gonna hurt now with that thunderstorm. There he comes in. No one can even see him coming. He just swoops in, starts melting faces with some lightning. Whoa.
Absolutely. And we're seeing both teams rotating around very nicely right now. They're trying to move around, keep the other team on their toes. Danish holding a 6-point lead right now. This might be what we predicted for the round, that Danish is still, they're fresh. They're coming off fresh. They are hyped. They're ready to take these finals home with them, but Bwed is going to lose this round.
3,
looks like by
2, 1.
5
Round
points.
over.
Another pretty comfortable ending by Danish. I think that round seemed to be a little less poised from Danish, but they were still able to make it back for the victory. What are your thoughts?
I think, bless them, I think there's certainly a definite amount of fatigue there going on for Bwed. They struggled to hold that equal. There were a couple of points where I think Bwed took a lead, but like by 1 or 2 points, but very shortly before Danish would come in and just re-equalize and then take the lead themselves. I think toward the end of that match, Bwed were very much like that fatigue was beginning to really hit them, and that's when things started slipping. The drones, we saw some beautiful chances there where like there was one amazing moment where Noxus boosted away from a drone but straight into full. It takes it off out of that
Death
point.
match.
But this is 3 series in a row that Bwed are playing. These matches are tense. That's going to be putting some real strain on them.
What do you think is going on right now? And I'll give you my opinion first. In like the Bwed locker room, if you will. I mean, they have to win this round or they lose the finals. And I'm sure they are not willing to take just 3 rounds for their finals. I'm sure they're going to be bringing their A game. They're probably readjusting, thinking about how they're going to take down Danish. What do you think it's going to take for Bwed to come ahead in this moon-based match?
I think they're probably regretting having not banned something like the thunderstorm.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
But I don't know. You said what's going on in that locker room. If I can imagine anything, it's Noxus getting super aggro with himself.
I bet he's super salty.
Prepare to fight.
Yeah. But no, I think they're going to be adamant to put on the best show they can. And here we go into round 3.
2,
Let's see how they
1.
do here. If that fatigue is going to take them, or if they're going to start pulling back.
Absolutely, both teams clashing in the middle. Danish again, really, they're coming off strong from the get-go. Bwed able to answer right now, but not to bronze. Snipe to Suki. Nox is taking out Braun from behind. Spawns have been flipped right now. Teams are tied up. This is going to be a very interesting game to see how many times the spawns flip. I almost want to keep a number in the chat to see how many times they flip the spawns, because these teams are not going to let the other one get a foothold on the other. They're going to keep each other on their toes. They're going to not stop moving. They're going to be pushing them, constantly trying to get the other one on their heels. That's really what the gameplay is going to be like and what we're seeing thus far. Full playing aggressively, even though he's low on health, and that cost him. Suki has double damage right now. Bwed has the lead right now, 5-7. Like I said, they're going to be coming off from that locker room, hyped up, ready to go. Nox is probably giving them a very inspirational speech, getting them hyped up to try to win this 3rd round so that it takes it into a 4th and possibly even into a 5th. Bwed holding their lead, 1 minute down. Here comes an airstrike, it looks like, from Danish Royalty. Looks to wipe out the other team right now. They have a lead. Give me your thoughts.
So I had a brief moment there when that airstrike smacked Noxus straight on the head. Like that looked painful. Yeah, I think definitely we've seen that there's obviously been some change there. As Bwed have come straight out of the gate, they've really held that score. They took a very strong start and they're holding on to it. Yeah, they're beginning to struggle a little bit. I mean, definitely Danish are putting that pressure on. There is a lot. I don't know. It's just this aggression constantly from both teams. That alone has got to be terrifyingly, tense.
Wow. I mean, I'm just perceiving Danish again seems like the more poised team. Bwed possibly having losing steam from playing so many rounds
1
in a
minute
row.
remaining.
We're seeing them slipping further and further. Now a 6-point deficit from Danish Royalty with less than a minute. 7-point difference now. I mean, I wish them the best of luck and the best of hopes for Bwed to come back, but a 7-point difference with 40 seconds left in the round, and it just keeps getting pushed further and further. It's not looking very promising for Bwed if Danish can stay as poised as they have been. 30 seconds left. Nox is trying to, and his drone that just was placed got taken out. Less than 30 seconds. Take us home, Benzie. Take us home.
And here we go. So it is straight up with Danish in the lead. Bless them. Bwed are desperately trying to scrape those points back. They are getting a few points here and there, but everything they are earning is being paid for in their own blood. 8 points, I think. 7 points. 8 again. Is backwards, back on forth, back and forth. Unfortunately, it is just not going to be enough. And there we are. There are our champions. Danish with 3 wins take the series, and with that series, take the tournament.
Congratulations. What a tournament it has been. Such hype for the winners here. Danish Royalty. I am getting the updated victory bracket right now, and I'm sure they're going to want to hang it up on their wall. Give some final thoughts on particularly that round, but then, of course, the tournament as a whole.
Just before I do, I just want to give a quick shout that there is going to be an after-party voice chat in the community category of the 4 Elements Discord. You can join the streamers, staff, and every player and fan in a fun voice chat 5 minutes after that match has just ended. So I will be there. I'll be looking forward to seeing you there in a moment. That match, again, I think that match was very much everything we saw from that series, that despite the best intentions, despite as much as Bwed wanted to swap that 2000 Paragon for $250, they wanted it. It just wasn't going to be enough for them. There is definite fatigue from playing 3 series in a row that sadly I just think Danish, fresh out of the gate, just had that edge on them, fresh and tidy, and they just cleaned up. What an exciting comeback from Bad there.
I'm sorry. I'm mostly just speechless. It's hard to say goodbye to this tournament. It's been such a privilege and an honor to be hosting and casting the 4E Jet Fest, especially with my good buddy Benzi. This team, the staff behind this tournament has been phenomenal. Watching these teams come ready to play, ready to compete. There has not been a boring series throughout the whole tournament. It has been nothing but hype. Some rounds a little bit more hype than others. We've seen some overtime. We've seen some jetpack kills. I think they've checked every single box for this tournament for it to be one of the most incredible experiences, at least I personally have ever had. What do you think, Benzi?
I've got to wholeheartedly agree. You know what? This tournament has just been incredible from the start. The way it was announced, the way it's been held, just the games themselves. I've never in the history of Armajet had like so many moments of just screaming internally at what's been going on. As I said, it's been a joy, and chat, thank you so much for coming and joining us for this. I didn't get to finish what I was saying before this started. It is you guys, the viewers, the community, that keep this stuff happening. So yes,
absolutely well said.
Huge
well
thanks
said,
to you guys.
Guys, it has been such an honor once again. It's been so amazing. Congrats once again to Danish Royalty for taking home the $250 grand prize. Very well played, very poised toward the end there. Guys, thank you again so much. We hope you guys hang out with us over in the VC for an after party hangout. Other than that, this is El Toro Darkness signing off. Benzi, go ahead and give your sign off as well.
So guys, it's been fantastic getting to shoutcast this with you, El Toro. It's been an absolute honor. I do run a YouTube channel if you want to come over and check. youtube.com/Captain Benzi. I do have plenty of Armajet videos, little tutorials, guides going up there with plenty more to come. El Toro, where can they find you after tonight?
Thank you for reminding me. Yes, after tonight, I run a Twitch channel called El Toro Darkness, same username. And again, I have actually Armajet Mondays, which have been on hold for a few weeks now, so I apologize. I am going to be bringing those back. Armajet's too addicting of a game to not be streaming and playing, so feel free to hang out with me while we play some customs, some pubs, randomize the classes, and have a good time. Also, make sure you do check out Benzi. I'm being serious. He has some wonderful videos, wonderful commentary, just a stand-up guy.
Oh, bless you. Thank you ever so much for saying, Toro.
You're welcome.
But anyway, that's it for me. So happy sailing, guys, and I will see you voice chat.
Yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.